shovel this at the net. Bobrovsky makes a pretty straightforward save, and as he had a good night in goal here. Bobrovsky with the 42 shots. Much of the second and the third, he's been under siege. Bergeron dispatched.
What's going on, everybody? John here with you. I should be joined by Cooper Hopkins momentarily. Again, puck drop for our game is approximately 9:50 Eastern. It's about 5-6 minutes from now. But let me give you the starting lineup. So for the Seattle Kraken, that's Matty Beniers, Ty Carte with Jordan Eberle, Vince Dunn, and Adam Larsson, Alex Wemberg, Jaden Schultz, Brandon Tannen with Jamie Alexiak and Will Borgen, Yanni Gourde, Ellie Tolvanen, Oliver Bjorkstrand with Morgan Geekie, Ryan Donato, and Daniel Sprong. Carson Soucy and Justin Schultz be the back-end defense with Philip Grubauer. For the Colorado Avalanche, it sounds like Nathan MacKinnon, Artturi, Lehkonen, and Evan Rodriguez with Devon, Toews, and Sam Girard. JT Compher, Matt Nieto, Mikko Rantanen with Josh Manson and Bowen Byram. Lars Eller, Ben Myers, and Dennis Mulligan. Alex Newhook, Andrew Cogliano, and Logan O'Connor with looks like Curtis McDermott and Eric Johnson. Alexander Georgiev will be in net. So the one thing that we do have to let you know, and again, this is in the middle of Florida and Boston, they're 3-3 with 2:06 in the third. That's in Game 5. Boston wins. That series will be done. But as far as the rest of this recap and everything else tonight, who's out for Colorado? It's Darren Helm, Jack Johnson, Nichushkin, and Cale Makar serving as one-game suspension. And the injuries for Seattle include Jared McCann, and that was the hit from Cale Makar after the goal scored. Maybe for the series, who knows? And Andre Burakovsky as well. So let's just get into this really quickly. I'll give you some of the stats and the lead in there. So for the recap, it's a 2-2 series, but it started with Seattle with a 3-1 win. Tolvanen, Wenberg, and Geekie got a goal in the first game. Grubauer was outstanding as he stopped 34 out of 35. Mikko Rantanen scored the lone goal for Colorado. In Game 2, Colorado came back in Ball Arena. Seattle again raced out for a 2-0 lead. It was first behind Justin Schultz and Tannen on a shorthanded goal, but Colorado answered with 2 goals less than a minute apart from Lehkonen and Nichushkin. In the third period, it was Devon Toews with the goal and assist of the game winner, 12:59. I'm trying to see if the Avs would find it in Game 2 because Colorado came back and won Game 3, 6-4. Seattle got the first goal of the game again on a Jaden Schwartz tip, and that was the game that I covered in there. But JT Compher came back with a shorthanded goal, forehand, backhand. McKinnon scored on a breakaway late in the first period. Makar made it 3-1 with a perfectly placed slapper. The Kraken had 2 goals in 19 seconds. Behind Jamie Alexiak and Matty Beniers, as it was a turnstile goal, and Beniers got a secondary rebound. It was 3-3 after 2 periods before the Avs and the Mikko Rantanen and the McKinnon experience stole the show. In Game 4, Seattle, they won 3-2. Cale Makar, again, he got a little bit of a nasty hit after the play against Jared McCann. Should he have not been suspended? That is the question, but he's out for Game 5 with this game. It was Borgen and Sprong on the fourth line that were able to start the scoring. And you got a penalty to Makar. McCann didn't return. Again, he's out for Game 5 in this. There was the second period where the Avalanche tie it. Mikko Rantanen scored twice. He's got 5 goals in the series. A great passing play from McKinnon. Rantanen was able to walk in, step back up, and snipe. And then on the power play side, he's able to tie it up from a shot from the right circle and score 5-hole on Grubauer. The other one was a snipe from the dot. And then it was a goal at 3 minutes in the overtime. Josh Manson got called for a tripping call, a perfect rebound on the other way, and Georgiev couldn't react to it. So as it stands, we're back in Ball Arena. We're going to be with Cooper Hopkins tonight on that side. We know Cale Makar is out for a game. And when we're talking about Helm, Jack Johnson, Nichushkin, and Cale Makar, I know it's Jared McCann on the other end. He's a 40-goal scorer. So I know that that's big. But we will see what ends up happening in that situation. So we have a minute left to go here in this third, and then I'm going to flip back over to ESPN2 on that side. I just want to carry with you this final minute, and then we will go to ESPN2 here for Seattle and Colorado. So this should be a lot of fun tonight as far as all the particulars. Hopefully I gave you all that reset, let you know what's going on. So I'm going to carry this for 40 seconds, and then we will flip back up to our featured game. This one is 3-3 between Florida and Boston. I'm going to get Cooper Hopkins in here right now. And then once this 33 seconds is done, I'm going to flip back over and we'll get into the play-by-play and all that stuff. I'm sure Cooper will have his hand in it as well. So we got you the reset, we got you the lineups, and then we will keep track of a very important Game 5 that's tied 3-3 between Florida and Boston. Boston wins, they advance. And Toronto is trying to advance tomorrow. I'm going to have that game for you on that side between the Lightning and the Maple Leafs as they look to close out a series for the first time since 2004.
John, my friend, it is excellent to hear your voice, and I know that your voice has probably been tested here as you've been covering plenty of these playoffs. And what a game we have tonight, which is par for the course, my friend. It's been an excellent first round here in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, and with 23.9 seconds to go in the third, 3-3 tie game in Boston. John, I got to say, even though we're probably going to be stepping away from this game, who do you think's going to take it? Because it looks like we're going to extra hockey here.
I think Boston will probably find a way to win it at home. That's what I'll say from the onset. But it wouldn't surprise me if Florida is able to get another one. They've shown themselves very well in this series, I think, Cooper.
Yeah, they've looked good since the outset, since puck drop beginning this game. And, they're up against it. They're down 3-1 in the series, as we know. And I wouldn't bet against Boston to take care of business here and move on. We know how efficient and dominating they can be, but Florida has really held themselves up against the Flames well. I had to get the word Flames into my analysis just once, John. Of course, they did not make the playoffs this year, but yeah, you'd be hard-pressed to bet against the Bruins in this one.
The only thing, again, I agree with you. I'd be hard-pressed on that side to think so the same, but if we're being honest with ourselves, if Florida won this series against Boston, I think that would be the biggest shocker. But the interesting part for me, Cooper, in the game that we're going to be covering here today in Seattle and Colorado, and I know you asked me this question, whether or not Seattle could win 2 games, I thought we would be calling an elimination game today, but it's 2-2.
Yeah, and John, not only is it 2-2, but if we really look back, it certainly could be just like this series is, just flipped on its head. It could be 3-1 Seattle, but the Avalanche came back very steadily a couple games ago as we have a breakaway opportunity right here, and that shot is saved by Bobrovsky. Oh my goodness, John. And then Ekblad almost knocks it into the net as regulation ends. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump into the play-by-play, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing there. The Bruins almost ended it with just seconds to go.
Yeah, they did. It was Brad Marchand on the breakaway. I see that we're underway on ESPN2, so I'll flip back over and we'll get into our game that's really just underneath the puck drop, so we'll give you a complete coverage between Seattle and Colorado. Do you want to start this one, Cooper, or do you want me to take it?
John, I'm going to follow your veteran presence here. I need a few moments to settle into this playoff season, I should say. I know you've been on the mic quite a bit, so hopefully you're warmed up and ready to go. And then we can trade off as we do sometimes, or we'll just see where we stand. But I'm excited to be on the mic with you either way.
All right, sounds good. So we're on ESPN2 for the time being, and we'll definitely keep you updated as far as Florida and Boston. We might not be doing a live look depending on how far it goes. So this is Colorado with the puck now. It's Devon Toews as he'll backhand this one in. And again, as we talked about, no Nichushkin, no Johnson, and no Cale Makar. And we'll certainly have to mention that hit on Jared McCann as Seattle will try to go the other way, and this will whistle past Georgiev and go back in for a rush here. Evan Rodriguez with a pass for MacKinnon. And Rodriguez is going to get a chance to pick this one back up in the slot and swallowed back up by Schultz here for Grubauer.
Yeah, John, there's a great opportunity right there and a nice save by Grubauer. He gets it collected there just outside of the blue paint. I'm sure you've made note of this, and I'm sure fans that have been following the series have noticed that the Kraken have scored first in every single contest in this series. And I don't necessarily have a prediction, but as a Seattleite myself, born and raised in the Northwest, I wouldn't hate to see the Kraken open scoring yet again. And as a road team at Ball Arena, I think they're going to need to do that.
So I know that we talked about this, Cooper, as far as Seattle rolling out all 4 lines. We knew that was going to happen, but you're surprised, as I am maybe, that Grubauer within the first couple of games, he's played very well in this series, all things considered.
Yeah, he certainly has, but he does have that pedigree. I mean, of course, the former Colorado man, he has that Jacob Markstrom-esque kind of gear to find, and I don't know if he ever found it in the regular season, but it seems like he has shifted at just the right time for the Kraken. He's been extremely solid in that.
So Matty Beniers can't win the draw, and a quick shot. This one bounces off the glass, and Colorado will flip this around. Back on the left side, Mikko Rantanen is on the chase for it. And again, Cooper, he's been excellent in this series. He's got 5 goals. Mikko Rantanen certainly carried over all of the regular season scoring into the postseason. And Colorado's needed. They don't have the same horses that they did last year. And they're in a battle right now with the Seattle Kraken because, Cooper, this is not the same team. Like when they played Nashville last year without Jussi Saros, I think Seattle is definitely a whole different animal. And they're giving everything to Colorado right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. And, I really like the fact that they can roll their lines, like you said, and Dave Hakstol really knows what he's doing, and he also trusts some of those players on the third and fourth lines to make big contributions, including a really nice goal from Spronger, as they call him, Daniel Sprong. He was a goal scorer a couple nights ago. We'll see if he's able to make an impact tonight.
Yeah, it was Sprong and Will Borgen, the fourth line and the third line defense that were able to get things going. As a long shot is held in by Gurdjieff. We get a stoppage with 17:31 in the first.
So, Johnson, this is our first chance to connect on the radio waves, so to speak, on the airwaves. I'm just, you know what? We take our analysis hat off for just a brief moment before we get to the next face-off. How has it been for you? I know you've been working with some different partners, and you've been covering a lot of these teams, if not all of them at this point. Anything stand out for you? Any favorite moments so far?
You know what? From that opening, from the double overtime game, when you laughed on that side, I'm covered with Hartman in Minnesota and Dallas. That's been really interesting. But it looks like Dallas now might have a stranglehold as Gurdjieff makes a save with the glove hand.
Yeah, I think you're right. We do get the quick stoppage here. Nice snag, though, by the way, as I see it on my side. That was a nice stretch right there by Gurdjieff. And since we were speaking about goalies and Grubauer, what have you thought of Gurdjieff in this series so far?
Can I say that he's been average? I don't think it's anything outstanding.
No, I think you're being very fair. He's done enough to keep the Avalanche in it. But, this series is 2-2 for a reason. And I think that's in part to, I wouldn't say suspect play by any means, but I don't think Gurdjieff has stood on his head at any point.
And again, the Colorado, they haven't had the same type of offensive explosion with except a handful of games. As there's another bomb and another glove save for Gurdjieff.
Dare I make another Calgary Flames reference? It seems to be a Flames-esque approach here from the Kraken early on. It's just firing often as possible, and Dunn put that right on, and another good glove stop by the Avs netminder there.
So do you think, Cooper, if Seattle gets out of this series against Colorado, they can make a little bit of a deeper run here?
Yeah, I think, listen, it's easy to say. I think once you've proven you can get past the defending Stanley Cup champion, I wouldn't say that all bets are off, but I think that the folks that have considered Seattle a really steep underdog no longer can take that position. I think you have to really consider them at least a solid opponent against any team that they might face going down the road in the future.
I think so, too, because, again, my open approach, I said Colorado in 5. I think Cooper was probably leading Colorado in 6, and at least we're going to get to that point right now. As in the middle of Game 5 in a 2-2 series tie with 16:50 left to go in the first. It's 2-1 in favor of Seattle. As Cooper said, it's Seattle opening the scoring in every single game in this series, and it would bode them well again as Tolvanen's 5-hole shot gets stopped by Gurdjieff's glove.
Yeah, I mean, listen, John, we're getting a little bit of a herky-jerky start here, but it's not because of pucks out of play or pucks into the player's bench or penalties. This is stoppages because Gurdjieff's having to hold on to the puck because Seattle's getting into the zone, and even though they're not developing really high danger chances of late, I should say, they're putting the puck where they need to put it, looking for rebounds and just trying to play solid fundamental hockey. I think that's a good way to approach it.
Yes, they are. They know what their game plan is. Again, Seattle, in every single game in this series, Cooper, they've not looked lost. They've been ready for the task at hand against the defending champs.
Yeah, they have, and I'm sure there's some element of hey, we have nothing to lose as the Seattle mindset. But you know what? Let's not forget there are multiple Stanley Cup winners on this roster, and I think that experience is showing.
Jared Bednar is the one that looks on as another offensive zone draw here for Seattle. This one tried to get cleared by Evan Rodriguez, and this is sent back around the net again where Seattle can continue to move this thing around the horn, and Gurdjieff with another long shot opportunity makes another glove save. Seattle already up to 4 shots.
Yeah, we're seeing kind of a rinse and repeat approach right here, but I like the fact that Seattle has some traffic right there in the slot, and I think it was Alexiak that put that shot on, and another simple save for Gurdjieff, but again, Seattle doing what they need to do, really dictating the play here, and we're not even 4 minutes in yet. It's a solid start for the visitors.
And again, from what Cooper was just asking me, I look at the numbers for Gurdjieff in this series, a 2.2, 908 save percentage on that side. So you want to get those numbers bumped up. You look at Grubauer on the other end. He's been better on that side as this is put out in front again. And this is going to fall right to Gurdjieff. Conference is going to say, let's hold on to this thing.
Yeah, John, it looks like if the game continues this way, we're just going to keep playing this thing in about 20-second chunks because I think the last stoppage we had was at 16:34. Now we're down to 16:17 to go here in the first, which obviously is a ton of hockey. We've really just gotten started. But I'm wanting to reference really quickly what you just mentioned. I of course, am keeping my eyes on that Wild and Stars series. Just when you thought Minnesota might be able to really push back on Dallas, but Dallas has done a great job, and they do look like the favorite to run away with that thing now.
Yeah, they do on that side. I thought that was going to be a 7-game series for Dallas, but they might end up closing that out here in a couple days. If we do get to a Game 7, I don't think I have to cover the Sharks on Sunday, so I probably will be on board for a Game 7, but we'll have yet to determine what that is. Tomorrow will be the Maple Leafs and the Lightning, so maybe we can call a history since 2004. We will see.
Yep, 2004 is a year that's near and dear to my heart, and I would certainly love to see the Maple Leafs do what they have not done in almost 20 years. I'm excited for them, but listen, the Lightning are still the Lightning. We said that so often throughout the regular season and the last playoff year, John. I would not be surprised to see that thing get pushed to the brink by Tampa Bay.
We will see what ends up happening with that. Right now, it's Colorado with the puck is Mikko Rantanen. We'll try to play this one right across. And again, that first line, when you throw that out there between McKinnon and Rantanen, they can be as good as anyone, even considering all the horses that they lost and the injuries that they're dealing with. As this is play for 29. Nice step through. And that one was just shot wide across the inboards. Nathan MacKinnon had a glorious goal a couple games ago, just like that, where he just really destroyed the defense. And we talk about Jimmy Alexiak like we did in this. He was the one that turned Mikko Rantanen in a turnstile. It was goals 19 seconds apart a couple games ago before Colorado took the big win. But the overtime win was just a couple days ago for Seattle that forced this series at 2-2. So we got 15-15 left to go in the first. It's a 5-2 shot goal lead here for Seattle. Scoreless yet, as this is flipped in by Alexander Georgiev. And we'll try to play this one. The ref wants to make sure that they get out of the way. Yanni Gourde trying to find some placement there for a forecheck. And nice play by Newhook. Get this one across. And this is offsides against the Avs.
Yeah, John, you just said an operative word there in your last breakdown, and that is forecheck. That's really been a really notable diamond in Seattle's game. It's been shining brightly. They have been unafraid to really press, sometimes with multiple, even upwards of 3, as all of their forwards pressing into the offensive zone when Colorado's had possession. We're seeing some of that tonight. I'm going to see if the Heat gets turned up on that, but that's been a big piece of what Seattle's done. They've garnered some turnovers and ultimately got some goals out of it.
Yes, they have. And again, we have to see if that continues. I think they're going to need it here because Colorado knows what they're up against right now. If they hadn't already learned after the first couple of games in this series, this one's going to be a dogfight all the way to the end. And no matter what happens with the Kraken, I think they did themselves a service. But they have a legitimate chance to win this series. And we'll see if they can continue to put on the pressure as Larsson will put this in deep. Matty Beniers will spin this around, but Nathan MacKinnon goes out and finishes the check as this will go back to Devon. Nice expert poke check ahead as Rodriguez and Lehkonen, they try to find this, but Larsson able to find it. That was some good poke check in there as Nathan MacKinnon was able to find something. Mikko Rantanen will just shovel into an open area. And now here's number 29. He'll fire right on. That was a blister of a wrist shot. And this will go to the right side of the red line as we stop by the left pad of Grubauer. And now Colorado will pick it up with Bo and Byram. Here's a clever little drop pass. Nathan MacKinnon in between the circles. He'll fire. And that was a good block by Schultz.
Yeah, John, this feels like a 2-2 series game so far. There have been some offensive opportunities for both teams. Of course, Seattle still does have that shot lead. But I'm getting the sense, and we see this sometimes, that both teams are feeling each other out a little bit. You saw what Nathan MacKinnon can do as we hit the commercial here where he stepped past the Seattle defense to create a chance for himself. But both of these teams not really taking massive risks so far. And we'll see who's the first, kind of like I was alluding to with the Kraken forecheck. We'll see who's willing to turn up the heat in part of their game and maybe take a risk to try to get one in.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Colorado's got all those pieces out. And as you said, maybe there's a reason why you don't want to take a risk. When you don't have guys like Nichushkin and Cale, Makar, that's difficult to place. You can talk about on the other end with Jared McCann. What did you think about the hit that Cale Makar delivered just the other day against McCann?
Yeah, you know what? I think at best it was Cale Makar being very unaware of the moment and what was actually happening after the whistle. And at worst, and this is not the type of player I've ever considered him to be, nor have I really ever heard him described this way.
Right.
But it did have the look of just a flat-out dirty hit. I'm not sure that there was intent there. It doesn't seem like the type of player that Cale Makar is, especially when the stakes are high like this. I don't think he's going to want to put himself listen, he's a confident young player. He knows what he brings to the table. I don't think he wanted to put himself in a position where he may or may not be suspended. Of course, ultimately he was for this one game. But, again, at best, it was just being unaware that the puck was well out of play. McCann was just taking a turn at the corner. He gets dropped against the glass there down the ice. And that was a scary moment.
It was. And when we do get to the intermission, I have a few questions that I want to ask you as far as some of the refereeing. I know that's been a very popular topic, but since this is our first playoff game here of this part of the 2023 season, we'll definitely have to ask some of those questions because I have a few of them for you. There's been a lot of controversy apparently.
Yeah, there has been, and I'm always ready for a little John Ott quiz. I'm more than happy to field anything you got for me, my friend. I'm just glad we're able to do this here, and this is breaking the seal for me. My first game of this playoff year in the NHL, and we get a shot of Matty Beniers as we come back to the ESPN feed. And, I'm proud to be alongside you, my friend. Let's keep this thing going with 13:45 to go in the first.
And I'm proud to be wearing that jersey. Again, I have you to thank for that, as this is picked up. This was trying to get Nathan MacKinnon. This will fall back to Alex Wimberg with 13:25 left to go on the scoreless first. This is flipped in, and this will be an opportunity for the Cerulean in the room to pick this up back in their own net and start again with Devon Toews. So again, he's going to get the leadoff time here because of no Cale Makar. But again, you have Devon Toews and Byram. You have young defensemen, but you have young defensemen, Cooper, that have tons of experience. As Matty Beniers, this is a nice little shovel pass. And Seattle have to make a play from their knees on that side. Jordan Eberle, as you try to put a stick on it, but Josh Manson will pick it up now off the backhand. And this is still being worked around the left side of the red line now, as Colorado is very patient, even though there's a lot of bowling pins back there, to get this back right to left. And they'll flip this across the red line now. This bounces off a couple of players at the delayed offside. Matty Beniers will pick this up, and they'll play this back to the defense. And they're going to go ahead and take some forward changes for Dave Hakstol's squad, as Ben Myers was a lone forechecker for Colorado. Here's an outstretched pass, about 70 feet. And Georgiev will play this with the stick. I was a little busy in behind his net, but Colorado will play this off the no-look backhand, and they'll dump it in near the left side of the wall. There'll be an opportunity for Logan O'Connor, and now an opportunity for Seattle to try to finish up a couple of hits, a couple of stick checks. Ryan Donato is going to emerge with a good, quick pass, be able to get Seattle going the other way. They'll fire it wide as this goes off the end boards near the right side of the red line and flipped out in the middle of the slot. Seattle able to intercept, see if they can do anything with it. And that goes off the right pad of Georgiev. That was a low shot, but it didn't bother the goaltender. This will be an opportunity for Cogliano to set this back up here with Bowen Byram. As they zoom in on Georgiev, again, he's going to want to put those numbers up. And I think Colorado going forward, assuming they get past Seattle, they're going to need to do that as well. Because this is going to be Georgiev's net. We're still kind of unaware of what Pavel Francouz is dealing with. He only played about 15 games of the regular season. So for all intents and purposes, it's going to be his net. As this is picked up now by Will Borgen. He just backhands this off of one of the Colorado Avalanche defense, and a spin and turn for Evan Rodriguez. It's a great pass for Nathan MacKinnon. Slows up. Now in the high slot. MacKinnon dancing, looking for a deflection. And a good save by Grubauer through traffic.
Yeah, John, maybe this is based on just what I've seen from MacKinnon so far. He has certainly been, in my eyes, the Colorado man with the most jump so far, as we like to say sometimes. It feels you're about halfway through this first period like this is going to be a game that needs to be taken over by Nathan MacKinnon if Colorado wants to build a lead. I've just seen more solid team play from the Kraken so far, and again, they haven't created anything extremely dangerous for themselves, but they are starting to get closer down in that low slot area near the blue paint, a couple of shots even on the last few shifts. So we'll see if MacKinnon can kind of drive things here for the Avs to get back underway.
And when we get a commercial break, I want to get back to your point, ask you a question on that as well. As Rantanen gets this off the backhand now, Seattle tries to get this out. They've been pinned in deep. Mikko Rantanen won't let them free. It's Devon Toews back here for Rantanen. This is doing a great job trying to get around Vince Dunn. Somehow pries into the traffic. Comfort. Now to Toews. Toews. Patient here for Sam Girard as they crisscross. And now it's opportunity for Rantanen again. He fires into the traffic, and this one gets blocked. This goes near the left side. Devon Toews was all turned around. He didn't know where the puck was. And this is picked up now for Rantanen. So we're getting close to the halfway point of this first. It's 7-3 in favor of Seattle. It's a 2-2 series tie. And again, it's one of these ones where you call a pivotal swing game. We'll see who goes up 3-2. And again, this would be absolutely monumental for either one of these teams. And that goes without saying. But if Seattle can find a way, and then they have a game at Climate Pledge, that's going to be absolutely spectacular as this falls back to Grubauer.
Yeah, John, just hearing you describe the way this thing hangs in the balance, it's worth noting that the Florida and Boston game is still tied at 3-3 with about 3 minutes gone in the first overtime there. We'll certainly keep our eyes on that one. That was an exciting game there that Florida has led multiple times, but Boston has come back to tie it. See if the Bruins can get that game-winning goal in OT and win the series. But what we were talking about in this series, John, is just the balance of things. And I have to say, it just feels like the Avs, if they're able to get win number 3 here in the series, I think they close it out in Seattle a few nights from now. But if the Kraken can get this win number 3, I actually think the very same thing. I think they will get the win in 6 if they're able to do it here tonight.
So that tells you how big this swing is going to be. So here's an opportunity now. This is centered out in front, and that got blocked by a bunch of Seattle bodies. It was the most dangerous chance for Colorado. And it was halfway through this game as this is wrapped back around for Devon Toews. And now an opportunity again for Matt Nieto. Again, as he was picked up from the deadline again, he's back on familiar territory, Bo and Byram. And there's a hand in the air, and this is going to go against the Avalanche.
Yeah, and John, this is what we talked about, my friend. We had multiple Kraken in their O-zone, and they didn't really have clean or full possession there. So I'm going to call that a forecheck. Maybe I'm just trying to make myself sound like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Seattle strategies, but they were putting pressure on the Avs deep behind Gurdjieff against the end boards, and it resulted in them forcing a penalty, and they're going to get a man advantage here, the Kraken.
No, you're right, because that speaks to everything that you're talking about. Seattle's not afraid to be able to pressure the puck when they need to in smart situations. They go to a break. Jack Johnson going to go to the box for interference at 10:42.
All right, John. So let me set this up for you because you said you had a couple questions in mind. We want to go to the Zebras. Do we want to talk about the play of the Kraken, the play of the Avs? What do you think we should do while we have our commercials run here?
Let's talk about some of the referee things because I want to get your thoughts. So you saw the Pavelski hit, correct, in the opening of the series there. How was that not any sort of thing against Matt Dumba, but Cale Makar gets a game?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And listen, all we can say is what we know now with hindsight, and that shows a pretty blatant inconsistency. And I think that's been the main complaint. You know, we've seen this from folks in the media and fans, whether it's on Twitter or other social media, just expressing their frustrations with the lack of consistency. You would hope that this time of year, in particular, as we hit the playoffs and the stakes just jump up so high every moment of every game, that the referee teams that are sent out to these cities to handle these series with these players giving their all to try to make a run for the Cup, you would think that would bring out the most consistency. But for some reason, John, this year, maybe more than others, it's just been completely the opposite. It seems like every referee team has their own, certainly don't want to say agenda. That has a big implication. I don't mean that. But they just seem to have their own approach. And there needs to be something a little more solid across the league, don't you think?
I do. And again, I want to finish this discussion because I have a few other points that we want to talk about too, as far as goals and other things. But yeah, it certainly seems like they interpret the rule book in their own set of ways rather than having a standard across the league.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you very much. The true professional that you are, you just summed up my meandering comments so beautifully. But yeah, we agree 100%. And we'll see here. I think as the Kraken take the first power play of the evening, the refereeing I've seen in tonight's games, and I know it's just 2, and we're only a little ways into this one, but I've liked what I've seen from the referees, both in the Florida-Boston matchup and in this one here in Colorado.
I just want to wonder here, are we just redoing the draw, or why did they blow the whistle there?
Now I look like a fool. The instant that I finish my statement, we have a completely random whistle that looks like, yes, I think that something was illegitimate with the draw, and I think it's going to come back next to Gurdjieff, and we'll start this power play over.
So Cooper and I will tell you, we're going to have some intermission discussion, but if this first period ends before the Florida-Boston game, I think we're going to need to cover some play-by-play, my friend.
Oh, I think so too. It's the theme of the night, the statement or the phrase of the night, I should say, is high stakes, and that's what we got in Massachusetts tonight. As it's still 3-3 with 6 minutes gone in overtime. So yeah, we'll definitely jump back and forth if we have the opportunity.
Oh, we just got an update. The Florida Panthers, they've won the game. We'll have to look and get a replay. Wow.
You were right, my friend. That happened just moments ago. It's 4-3. That it looks like it's going to be now a 3-2 series with Boston still in control, but a big win by the Panthers. And I have yet to see a goal scorer. Hopefully I can refresh and see who put that in. But yeah, it looks like the Florida Panthers will win tonight. So
we'll get you a reset, and when we get a replay, we'll let you know all that stuff. So Seattle in the middle of the power play, and that was a good drive to the net by Jaden Schultz. That was canceled off by Gurdjieff.
Yeah, yes, indeed, John. It's another situation. I apologize for my delay right there. I was trying to jump around and see who won the game for the Panthers as the visitors tonight. But, yeah, we'll get the reset there momentarily. And there's a good job. Again, Sprong at the top of the circle puts that one down low, and the Kraken drive the net. Good backhand opportunity by number 17 in white, Jade Schwartz.
So minute 23 left to go in the first power play of the game. Again, Johnson in the box for the Avs. This is a 2-2 series tie. Again, Florida, as we're looking on our screen off the half and half, we don't have a replay yet, but it shows Florida with the lead in overtime. Means they've won the game if it's going to stand, and they will be 3-2 in the series. As Matty Beniers will go ahead and take this one against Lars Eller. Eller able to win this one clean, and this will fall back into the glove hand and cleared down by one of the Avs, as it's down now for a minute 10 left to go in Seattle's power play.
And I will say just briefly, John, the game-winning goal scored by none other than the mouthguard chewing man himself, Matthew Tkachuk. He puts it in unassisted, apparently, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he scored that goal. Either way, it's the Panthers' Matthew Tkachuk winning that game and closing the series down to a 3-2 lead now for the Boston Bruins.
And again, we are not surprised to hear that name, are we, Cooper?
Not at all, my friend, not at all.
So Daniel Sprong will play this back to the defensive side, and Seattle will look to start again. Again, they're going to be going left to right. As Wemberg racing across the red line now for Eeli Tolvanen. Tolvanen now Dunn able to hold it in. It's Eeli Tolvanen near the right side dot. He's patient, throws it back to Vince. Vince now back to Tolvanen as they crisscross. Same thing here now. Eeli's got the puck, fires him into the screen. That one was fired high. Thought it might have bounced off of Gurdjieff and Carte. Excuse me, I'm not familiar with that Seattle Kraken. As he's flipped back across now. Again, he might be the Jared McCann replacement on that top power play line.
Yeah, I think so, John. That's a new name for both of us, and I'm not sure if either of us have a full rundown. But yeah, we have somebody out there with an S on their chest, and the Kraken now have to make a push here with just seconds to go in the power play, and Yanni Gourde has the puck on stick.
So 7:05 left to go in the first. I'm sure we're gonna have to flip over on the ESPN side as far as those channels, and we'll do so when we need to, as this puck goes up and on a play exactly at 7 minutes in the first.
Yes, indeed, and apologies there. I think I may have claimed that the power play was ending, although I think, John, I might be just a handful of seconds behind you on my feed. So not only are you leading the way with the play-by-play on this broadcast, but you're leading the way on the video side as well. I'm getting a little replay right here. One of the Zebras gets bumped into the Colorado bench by Matt Nieto, so hopefully he's okay. It doesn't look too worse for wear. Just gets bumped right into Jared Bednar's lap almost.
So Yanni Gourde can't win the face-off here for Nathan MacKinnon, and this is flipped up in the air. We get a stoppage yet again as it hits the netting at 6:50. It's 9-4 in favor of Seattle. I wouldn't say completely tenuous start, but I don't think Seattle minds this pace right now, Mr. Cooper Hopkins.
Yeah, John, you're right. I mean, we agree, as we so often do, but, fundamentally we agree once again because, we're both sensing what I think we've noticed since the early part of this game, and we are still early, but now about 14 minutes have elapsed here in the first, and neither team has really wanted to hit the afterburners. I don't think anyone's taking it easy by any stretch of the imagination, but this is pretty fundamental hockey right now. It lacks a little bit of bite, and like we said before, we'll see which team is willing to take more risks to try to up their chances of getting the first goal tonight.
So Tolvanen with a nice little short side wrister as that was stopped by the left pad of Georgiev, and now Colorado trying to push the other way with Mikko Rantanen. Here's an opportunity for McKinnon. Great drop pass, and an even better block by the Kraken as it absolutely snapped the stick in half. We're going to go ahead and take a change. I think that was Yanni Gourde that blocked it, but now it's an opportunity for Manson. As they'll fire it in from 100 feet, this goes off the stick shaft of Grubauer and sent back around Seattle. Quickly try to take this the other way. Now it is a race for the puck just a little bit. Seattle trying to get to it, but this will fall back to the Avs. And now Ben Myers, number 59, he gets canceled off near the left side wall. It's an opportunity here for Turbo as he gets taken out. Now Ben Myers trying to locate after a couple of stick flips. And now Newhook trying to send this back around as he's patient out there with Dennis Mulligan as he just recently come back from an ACL part of it. And this is picked up now for Seattle. Played this off the back end, now off of a separate spin in the high slot. Seattle getting set up. Here's the fire, and this one gets blocked. 5:21 left in the first.
Yeah, John, with just a little more than 5 to go here in the first, we are seeing kind of more of the same in this first period. That's that MacKinnon line that has really had a lot of jump and a little extra spice in their game so far. And for the Kraken, it's more of that team game. It seems like all the lines are rolling out and showing real competency and solid play. But you know what gets me? I still, after watching however much hockey I've watched in my life, and it's been a lot, to see the hand-eye coordination that Yanni Gourde displayed, making that block. Of course, he gets his body in front and he gets in the shooting lane physically, but he's able to get his stick shaft in the exact path of the puck from probably less than 10 feet away on a slap shot. And that slapper snaps the stick in half. That was a great observation by you. And still, it puts a smile on my face that these guys can do what they do. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it's at the highest level possible. And again, I just give you the heads up there if you hadn't already seen it. We'll flip back up to ESPN Uno here.
Yep, heading back to the flagship, as they say, because there's certainly plenty of NFL draft preview coverage to go around. But we're going to stick with ice hockey tonight, John. And you know what? I know we probably have covered. I should say you have probably covered this as you kicked off your coverage tonight. But with Makar out and McCann out, so you have one of the best defensemen in the league, and then a 40-goal scorer for Seattle. Who do you think is at more of a disadvantage there? Do you think the Avs without Makar, even though they've had a great record when he hasn't played, or do you think the Kraken are going to miss the goal-scoring ability of McCann tonight?
So I know it said, 17-1-2 when Cale Makar without him, but I'm still going to go Cale Makar only because I know he wheels and deals. He's part of that power play. He's part of everything they do on offense. And the way that Seattle's been rolling out all 4 lines in this series and gotten production, I'm still going to say Cale. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? You pretty much took the thought right out of my mind. It's that quarterback power play mentality that he brings and his ability to basically act at any time like an additional forward. This is what Nikita Zadorov tries to do for the Flames from time to time, but Makar does it at all times for Colorado. You just have to account for him 100% of the time. And if you slip at all, good luck. Your night could be over very soon. And he's out tonight along with McCann, but I agree. Makar is, I think, a slightly bigger loss for the home team.
Matty Beniers with Eberle. That was a good setup there for number 7 from 10. And this is sent back around Carson Soucy. Tried to get this here for Will Borgen. He's stuck in a little bit of a pinch. And now Cogliano will play this off the backhand. And we'll see if the Avalanche here's going Byram. And nicely played off the backhand off the give and go. And this will be blocked near the right side of the wall. Be a chance for Logan O'Connor to recollect here. A chance to pick up for Sam Girard. And that was a good save by Grubauer amongst the Redwoods.
Yeah, Grubauer hasn't had to make, obviously we see it on the shot clock here with 10 shots for Seattle. I think now 5 it should be for Colorado with that save. But Grubauer hasn't had a ton of intense action tonight, so want to make sure that he is still, at full attention, and he certainly was on that save right there.
Yes, he was. And again, that's Seattle actually getting a chance to maybe move the puck a little bit in transition to see what they can do. Again, we've seen a lot of that in this series, But as Cooper said, this Game 5 right now, this feels more like a lock 'em down, drag 'em out playoff game. But again, I think Cooper and I are all here for this, as this is picked up now. Here's a long outstretched pass. This one will go just a little too far there for Nathan MacKinnon, but he certainly has jets, as this will go the other way. For the Kraken, it's Oliver Bjorkstrand, picked up from the Columbus Blue Jackets. This right in the breadbasket of Georgiev, and he holds on yet again.
Yep, and it's the Kraken doing what they've been doing all period. That's Bjorkstrand putting one on, just firing, I would say, maybe a little too early, John. He'd like to, of course, try to create rebound opportunities, but there really weren't any other Kraken in that area. So maybe he was hoping for his teammates trailing to get into the blue paint area, but that was a nice, easy save by Georgiev.
Yes, it is. And right now, it's kind of a nice, easy, brisk call. I think this is going to change a little bit as we get a little bit longer into this game. But this just certainly breathes right now some brevity that both teams don't want to make a mistake here. That's what you're seeing in this Game 5 so far. And again, we talk about a 2-2 series split. This win, again, as Cooper said, can essentially mean a lot. I mean, this could really close it out in Game 6. Who knows? As this is picked up by Seattle. Played it off the backhand now. Alex Wimberg trying to keep this alive, and this is a good short side opportunity there that was saved. It was Morgan Geekie that let it fly.
Yeah, one of the better opportunities right there. A nice pass out of the corner, and Georgiev forced to really be locked in, and he makes another stop. I think that's shot number 12. So more than doubling up the Colorado shots. And yeah, Geekie had a great opportunity right there with that signature rose visor that he has. Nice pass out of the corner. And actually, as we see the replay, John, it may have deflected off the skate of Johnson. But either way, Schwartz was right on the doorstep. And great glove save right there by the netminder for the Avs.
Yeah, Jaden Schwartz has been really good in this series. When you have him out there with Justin Schultz as they try to fire now, you'll see Schwartz right in front of the doorstep trying to obscure the vision of Georgiev, try to get some screen goals. He's already done a good job of that in the series. Baseball-style catch for Grubauer, and he holds on.
Yep, that was a lobbed one that just headed right toward the logo on his jersey. Makes a nice stop right there, and this is kind of typical of what we've seen so far in this first. It's about 15, 20, 30-second bursts, and then a relatively simple stop by one or the other of the goaltenders. And it's going to take something. It's going to take a risk. We'll see. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but we'll see which of these squads is willing to kind of rip the top off this thing and really go for broke and get the first one.
Absolutely. As Mikko Rantanen, he was taking some time on the draw. And now here's a one-on-one. Schwartz, and this goes off the right pad of Georgiev as this is picked up now near the right side red line. Good battle there by Jaden Schwartz, just trying to keep this alive. Played it off the backhand, Nathan MacKinnon there. Ever dangerous, always providing some support as this is picked up by the Kraken. In the offensive end, this will go D in the high slot, and this gets blocked by the Avalanche. Mikko Rantanen able to take a hit and then make a nice play forward. No penalty call there against the Kraken. I thought maybe there were a little bit of knee there against Nathan MacKinnon, and I thought that the Avs fans would want that. They're certainly reacting to it, but we're still live now with 3 minutes left to go in the first as this is jumped in by the Avalanche. See if they can get something going. And again, I've noticed Mikko Rantanen all over the ice as well. Now it's the third line for Jared Bednar's squad, Matt Nieto, trying to get around Ellie Tolvanen, but this will be flipped in deep where the Avalanche get a chance to recollect there with Devon Toews. Now Sam Girard will try to dump this in, but it'll be Yanni Gourde, the former Tampa Bay Lightning man. Here for Oliver Bjorkstrand near the right side wing. Bjorkstrand for a severe angle wrister that's stopped by Georgiev. Down at 2:25 left to go in the first is Yanni Gourde from Schultz. That's a big save by Georgiev amongst the traffic, and this is flipped in across the Avalanche logo. Shots are now 15-6 as it's dumped down back across the ice for Evan Rodriguez. And an opportunity for Johnson as this goes forward there for Rodriguez. He'll play this off the backhand. And an opportunity now for Nathan MacKinnon. Slows up near the right dot, looking for a sauce pass, middle of slot. Manson plays this off the backboards, and Grubauer sees it and gloves it.
Yeah, John, I think now as we close in on the end of this first period, we're starting to see the dial get turned just a little bit. And tell me if you think I'm wrong here, but I think the man with his hand on that dial is Jaden Schwartz for the Seattle Kraken. He's had a couple of good shifts. He's looked very dangerous. He's moved quite well, and I would keep my eye on him as someone to make an impact here in not too long. And of course, it's an easy one for the Avs, but number 29, Mr. Nathan MacKinnon has definitely looked like Colorado's best player so far.
I definitely flip the dials on both of those. I'd throw an extra one in Mikko Rantanen. I know that's an easy name to say, but the Stars have played like stars right now in this game. We're waiting for a goal with 1:45 left to go in the first, as this is trying to get sticked away. It's just a massive humanity in Colorado's defensive zone. This would be an opportunity. Nice play off the stick left. Turbo was the one that set it up the backhand. Now in the high slot, sacrificial block by guess who? Nathan MacKinnon. As this goes back now for Matty Beniers, and it gets blocked again by Nathan. Good job there by the assistant captain again, and name only on that end because no Gabe Landeskog. He's been out all year. And is this going to be a tripping call? Does this get sent the other way? 1:15 left to go in the first. You would have to think so. I don't see there. Now I see it. A delayed penalty against the Kraken. That was definitely a trip, and the Avs will go to the power play. This could be some carryover time. Mikko Rantanen carries it in with the extra man. It's Nathan MacKinnon. Now Evan Rodriguez wide open, and that one gets shot high. But Seattle touches, and Colorado goes to the man advantage.
Oh boy, John Ott, I thought that Colorado was about to take the lead right there on a clapper from inside the circle with under a minute to go here in the first. And yeah, we were just talking about Schultz, and I think he's making an extra effort to dive for the puck right there. And hey, you're on ice, so what are you going to do? He goes sliding and takes the legs out of one of the Avs. So I apologize, I didn't get the TV numbers on the Av that drew the penalty. But either way, with zeros on the scoreboard for these teams, Jaden Schwartz with the tripping call, 2-minute penalty against the assistant captain for Seattle. 56.9 to go here in the first, and the Avs get their first man advantage. We'll see what they can do with it here at home.
They can thank Artturi Lehkonen for that. As this goes now near the right side of the red line, and now Mikko Rantanen, and behind the office of Grubauer. Colorado can be very dangerous on this power play. Again, they were 5th in the NHL. As this is picked up now, here comes the bomb. That was a ripper of a puck, but this actually hit JT Coffer. That's probably fortunate for Grubauer. He was sliding all sorts the wrong way. Now in the middle of the high slot as we get the overhead cam. Larsson trying to fall on this, but now it's Nathan MacKinnon. Couple of stick checks now with Trey Lehkonen. This is big Jamie Alexiak. He's just got to fire this out, and he does. 15 seconds left to go in the first. Again, Colorado will have their carryover time. They're 1 for 10 in the series with 15 shots, but again, we know how good they can be. Devon Toews, nice entry. Here's MacKinnon. Now Mikko Rantanen back to Nathan. He's going to fire this one quickly. Maybe Rantanen has to let it go. This one gets blocked by Beniers, and that ends the first period. What a block by Matty.
Wow, Matty Beniers, Michigan product, my friend. He is not only an extremely skilled player, but he's not afraid to show the heart of a grinder as well. He put his body in front of that thing, and boy, he paid the price. Luckily, he got up right away. A little bit of a limp there, but he is a true hockey player. Makes a huge stop and limps his way down the tunnel as we have hit the first intermission. What a stop! And MacKinnon as well. 2 blocks in one sequence. So the big boys for both of these squads, John, are making a difference in the first period.
And that's what you love right now. Since we don't have any goal scoring, we'll just give you the stat reset here, and then we'll get into some of our extracurricular talking points. But after that, we will give you the Florida-Boston reset. But it's 15 shots to 8 here for Seattle. The hits are 18-13 for the Avalanche, and face-off's pretty close to even, but the Avalanche have the lead on that end, 13-12. Again, it's one power play opportunity both ways, but Colorado going to have some extended carryover time as we go into the second. Cooper, do you want to hit the Florida-Boston reset?
Yeah, let's do it, John. That was a heck of a game, and I had my eyes on that one really from puck drop, and I was rewarded for it. The Florida Panthers were rewarded about halfway through the first period. It was Duclair with the assist from Verhaeghe. That was Duclair's first of these playoffs, and it put Florida in the lead 1-0. They took that lead into the first intermission. But in the second period, John, just about 2.5 minutes into the middle frame, Marchand gets his fourth with the assist to McAvoy. That was on the power play. So we had a 1-1 hockey game until former Calgary Flames Sam Bennett gets his third of the playoffs. That was at 18:52. So great time for him to put the Panthers back in the lead. Verhaeghe with another apple there at the assist secondary to Cousins. So the game was Florida 2, Boston 1 going into the third. And then Patrice Bergeron, the captain of the Bruins, is first of the playoffs, 4:33 into the third period. Another power play tally for the Bees. That was assisted by Marchand and McAvoy. And then Sam Reinhart is second in the playoffs, just about 45 seconds later with the assist from Tkachuk and Barkov. That's a power play goal. So we had a 3-2 hockey game. And then Taylor Hall, the speedy forward, puts one in. That was a beautiful play from the high slot, gets a bouncing pass, turns, waits, keeps the defender on his hip, and fires up over the glove of Ullmark. That was assisted by Coyle and Carlo to make it 3-3. That's how we ended regulation. And then John, with his third of the playoffs at 6:05, assisted by, once again, Verhaeghe, it is Matthew Tkachuk, number 19, with that signature white mouth guard hanging out of his jaw, no doubt. He puts one home and gets the overtime winner. Your final 4-3 in Boston. And the series, John, still led by the Bruins, but it's a little closer now, 3-2. And we'll see what happens a couple of nights from now as they head back to the Sunshine State.
So this is just really quickly from me because I know I want to get into our talking points. Taylor Hall had about 50 points in the regular season. He's already got 5 playoff goals. So you've had the secondary production there. And all the names that you mentioned, you got DeClaire, you got Bennett, you got Verhaeghe with 3 points. Oh, and by the way, were you going to start Alex Lyon or Sergei Bobrovsky? Bobrovsky, with his best game of the series, stops 44 out of 47 to absolutely make sure that Florida can get to a game 6. So good job for Big Bob there.
Yeah, Bob did a fantastic job this evening, and that's another note to make as well. You know how dangerous Boston has been really from game 1 of this year, and they certainly have in his playoffs, thanks to Taylor Hall primarily. He has just looked otherworldly so far against the Panthers, and he gets another one, as you mentioned. But yeah, John, Bobrovsky faced almost 50 shots, and the Panthers had about half of that total. So they did a lot with a lot less, and they deserve credit for really battening down the hatches when they had to, because the Bruins were coming all night long.
Yes, they were, and it's been a great series. And again, it's probably something that I should have expected. I did say Boston in 6 only because, again, I have respect for Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, everything else like that. But again, to see it happen, and again, Florida was one of the only other teams besides the Ottawa Senators. I know it's Atlantic Division, but they still beat Boston twice in a regular season year. And not many teams can say that otherwise. A historic year for the Boston Bruins. And we'll see if they can get it done at FLA Live Arena.
Yeah, now, John, I want to pick up where we left off. Do we want to potentially jump back into our officiating conversation, or we want to look at some of the players on either of these rosters for the Kraken and the Avs, or what's on your mind tonight, my friend? What should we break down?
Let me go back to the beginning really quick because I only have a couple other ones that I want to mention with you. And I know that you've been following this series closely, and I have too. And again, it's not just for predictions, but the LA Kings, oh man, the other day, that was a rough one. They gave up a 3-goal lead. But the one before that I'm talking about was the one that I covered. Trevor Moore gets an overtime game winner. There was a play that was played with the high stick, but it bounced off Ekholm. It allowed the LA Kings to be able to go ahead and get the goal and score in overtime. Was that played with a high stick? Could we tell? Should that have not counted?
I think, now listen, I think the folks that are anti-Oiler, and you would expect me to be as a lifelong Calgary Flames fan, I think that there were some cries that it was sort of, you know what, almost as is described in the NBA, kind of Michael Jordan basketball. You know, he would get Michael Jordan calls just because he's Michael Jordan. I think people that were displeased with the review were sort of claiming that Connor McDavid he appealed his way into getting that reviewed. However, I don't necessarily subscribe to that view. I think there was legitimate need to review that play. I did not see anything definitive. I know that I'm in one camp, and there are other camps that believe there is definitive evidence that there was the puck was played with a high stick. There wasn't enough there for me to turn that goal over, John. And I am no huge fan of the LA Kings, I'll admit it. That's a tough series for me to watch. Again, not a giant Kings fan, and certainly no Edmonton fan, but I think that the outcome of that game in particular was the right one.
And again, there's only one other one, but this is kind of me just talking points. So from the very beginning of the series, we talk about the Pavelski hit, but you also see Foligno for the Wild. I saw a game in Game 4 where he got high sticked in the face and then got called for a tripping call. And then he got called for a boarding call, which he didn't board. So I'm thinking, all right, we'll see if the refs have everything else in plan for him. And not only does Dallas come back and absolutely destroy Minnesota, and what was it, a 5-0, but he knees Radek Faksa and gets kicked out of the game. So even if you don't get calls that go your way, if you're Foligno, you can't knee Radek Faksa and you get a suspension on that end. And I know this is a few games ago, but we saw the one with Chernak against Michael Bunting. That was a very poor elbow there by Michael Bunting. And we know over the last few months, he's kind of had that reputation a little bit for running his mouth, getting in the face of referees. And when that's already up against you and you make some plays and you get suspended for a few games, we'll see if Bunting is going to be available for the game tomorrow against the Lightning, because there's a lot going forward here for Toronto. And they look pretty good right now with Matthew Nice. Again, we watched him a little bit in the game against Quinnipiac in the final for college hockey. So we'll see where Bunting plays or if Nice stays on the ice.
Yeah, and John, I'm glad you broke down those different plays, because it just speaks to something that I think most fans are aware of here, and that's been there have just been maybe too many moments in this first round of the playoffs where certain players have pushed what we would typically describe as playoff hockey to a level that's not really necessary, and we certainly saw that with the knee hit in the Wild and Stars series. That was just a mess. That's classic dirty play right there. And that's what's toughest, John, when we see plays where there is clear intent, and that intent is ill intent specifically. And yeah, that was a disappointment to see, and the punishment doled out, I think, was appropriate. But there, in multiple series, it hasn't been isolated to one series, and we have seen some moments that have resulted in collective groans from different fan bases and really fans of all of these teams. You want to see that extra intensity, but you don't want it to come at the cost of players' health and safety, or what will ultimately be the quality of the series. Because when you start missing players like, hey, we're talking about Makar and McCann tonight, it changes the style of game that's played. It changes the way coaches approach that contest, and ultimately, I think it makes things a little less dynamic. And not saying tonight's game has not been dynamic, but the presence of Makar and McCann in this example, I think, would have elevated the contest a little bit.
Yeah, again, it's been all over the place, as you said. And again, I don't think either one of us, we're not attacking the referees. You know how hard that is to do, but it's funny. And it's not just because there's 8 series in the first round where you get the most action, but if I can ever remember watching hockey for as long as you have, Cooper, this has been very divisive on both sides, and there's been a lot to talk about. So if you have a few other things you want to talk about, feel free to do so. But I also want to take a look ahead at our other games that we have left to go in the series across the week. So how do you want to attack this?
Well, you know what? Before we jump into the future, before we look ahead, let me stay on what we were just talking about, but a different angle on it.
Sure.
Let's talk about the Oilers and the Kings really quickly, because John, I've all but forced you to become completely attentive to the Pacific Division over these years that we've worked together. But we got a pretty compelling series, and that, I think, is an understatement, between the Oilers and the Kings. And I think after the performance that the Oilers just put up, doubling up the Kings 6-3 in that final just a night ago, I think that some fans are licking their chops and expecting the Oilers to be the Edmonton team that they think they are. Obviously, that absolutely lethal power play continues to just fire on all cylinders, but a little bit of low-hanging fruit here, and this is a player that is talked about constantly, day in and day out. But I just got to get your thoughts, my friend. What have you thought about the play of big number 97 for Edmonton? He's had a number of assists, and he has scored a couple of times. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. He has multiple point games now, I think, at least 3 games in a row.
Yes.
But do you think that Connor McDavid is actually underperforming in this series?
It was a slow start for all the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to throw that out there in Connor's defense. And the only reason I say that, because when we opened up as far as the series, we talked about a team that averages 3.96 goals for, and the Kings can put them down to 210, 230. Now they've started to just, smash the front of the castle, break down the doors with the barricades, starting to score some goals. So I think his numbers will continue to percolate forward. But yeah, it's been a slow start.
Yeah, I'm curious too, on the heels of that, do you expect as we've seen the Kings now, the recent 2 games, the Kings have needed overtime in order to get that victory, and then the Oilers really controlled the last game from start to finish. There was some good pushback from Los Angeles, but I think it was probably ultimately their worst effort in the entire series so far. Do you expect the trend to continue? Do you think the Oilers now are sensing blood in the water, so to speak, and are gonna make the final push needed to get the Kings out of there, or do you think that LA comes back with some fight in this next game?
I'm not just saying this because I took the Kings last year in 7, but I'm still going to go with Kings in 7. I think the Oilers probably take it in 7, just like they did last year. And I'll just throw it out to you like this. I know it's the obvious statement to make. The Kings are very fortunate that Game 6 isn't until Saturday. They got tons of time to essentially reboot, hit the reset button, and take it one game at a time. I think they take the one at Crypto and then lose at Rogers.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and that was inadvertent on my part. I didn't mean to set you up to deny your own prediction, and then, of course you're still in it. And the Kings absolutely have the capability to not only get the series tied, but to get the series W. But I do like that you pointed out the distance between games here, and I shouldn't say distance. I should just say the duration between the games, because Drew Doughty was he certainly sold out to keep his team in it as best he could. He was banged up a little bit. I don't think there's any long-term injury concern by any means, but I think the Kings need that rest much more than the Oilers do, and not just because of the outcome of the last game.
No, they do. And if you're the Oilers, you wish you could have played the game the very next day to close out the series.
Yeah, no question about it. So we're in lockstep yet again, my friend, and I'm also thinking about now. I'm just seeing this on the ESPN side. I wasn't expecting this, but it looks like Joe Pa could return for Game 6 for the Stars, and the Stars, of course, with that 3-2 series lead. When you throw Pavelski back in it, if he's even at 80%, I think that's a big boon. It could be a big get for Dallas.
That's a heroic return that enough just seeing his presence can propel you to that win.
Yeah, absolutely. Just knowing that he's fighting to get himself back in the mix, and when he's probably not yet, that's a safe statement to make. He's probably not yet at or near 100%. Yeah, that could give Dallas even more motivation to get Minnesota on the ground and get him out of there.
So let me just get to this right away. Again, we can get predictions wrong, and I told Cooper this from the very beginning, so he knows. Again, he wouldn't make fun of me too much about this. But I picked some predictions, and I went on the other side of the road because it's not always fun to pick chalk. Now I get to see that Scheifele and Ehlers are out when the Golden Knights play the Jets. And it looks like Game 6, that'll be, if necessary, Saturday, but tomorrow, the Golden Knights could essentially close it out already with a very banged-up Jets squad. I think that they're going to get it done now. My prediction is going to go by the wayside.
Yeah, you're a big man to admit it, but I think the writing is on the wall, and the writing is. I think originally wasn't there at all. I think the Jets made a nice play and showed themselves more than game to stand up to not the juggernaut this year, but the very solid squad in the Knights. But yeah, the writing on the wall now I think is in ink, my friend. It looks like Vegas is going to take care of business here, and they will move on.
Is there any series in particular, because I know I'm going to mention the Rangers and Devils in a minute, but is there any series in particular that's surprised you?
You know what? It's funny that you say you wanted to talk about the Devils and the Rangers next, and I'm thinking about them not only because of the calls that we had during their series, the Rangers series specifically, of course, with the New Jersey Devils out of it last year, but I'm thinking about what I saw from the Devils a few nights ago, I should say, a 3-1 game in the favor of New Jersey. I was expecting the Rangers to really put their foot on the necks of their tri-state rivals, but the Devils came back and surprised me in that contest, John. They tied up the series.
Yes, they have. And again, if you look at it, again, I know I have the notes in front of me, but I'd have to pull them up for a few more windows. It would take too long. The Rangers and the Devils are really good road teams, and the road team has won every game in this series so far. And now maybe the Devils, they found their goaltender going forward. It might not be Vitek Vanacek. It'll be Akira Schmid.
Yeah, that's an interesting development. And just to your point about being on the road, the Rangers, after that 5-1 win back on April 20th, they take a 2-0 series lead. They're going back to MSG, and I'm thinking sweep. I'm like, okay, this has got to be it. But then the Devils pull out that overtime victory, and I think, okay, this is just my thought process, and I know I'm not alone. I think, all right, the Rangers give one up. It was a tight game. They were in it the whole way, and it took overtime for the Devils to get that done on that nice goal that was scored by Dougie Hamilton, another shout-out to a former Flame. But then the Devils come back with a solid, fundamental 3-1 win a couple of nights ago. And now it's, to me, John, of course it literally is because it's tied 2-2, but I could not make a prediction right now. It's a true coin flip for me. It's
interesting, right? Because as you said, it was New York that absolutely destroyed New Jersey in the first two games. And then New Jersey, not only did they right the ship, they kind of closed down the goal scoring there for the Rangers completely.
Yeah, they did. And I don't know. It's just something where I had the belief, like a lot of people did, the Rangers were going to be the better team. The Devils had not made a playoff appearance in a number of years. They seemed to be out of their depth. And then all of a sudden, they scratch and claw their way back. And after a 3-1 win and holding that Rangers team, which of course includes, major goal-scoring talent, Tarasenko, Patty Kane, Trocheck gets their only goal, and that was early in the third period. And then the Devils with, again, Siegenthaler, I wouldn't have expected him necessarily to be a goal scorer, but then Palat, he gets his first of the playoffs. And yeah, John, the Devils might be more dangerous than we expect.
Yes, they are. We're going to get into the second period. You want to take this one?
You know what? Why don't we? If you're okay, if you can take the first half of this period, maybe we switch off at a media break halfway through.
All right, sounds good. So we are still in a scoreless game between the Kraken and the Avalanche. We do get in the second intermission. We are not finished with our playoff coverage because we still got a couple other series to talk about. As it's Devon Toews now with Mikko Rantanen off the give and go. They're going to try to go left to right on this power play. And Toews gets knocked down, but Lehkonen will race for the puck. We'll get this one to Mikko Rantanen. Try to put this in the high slot. Devon Toews, here comes the bomb. MacKinnon with a deflection, and that was brushed aside by Grubauer. It's JT Compher that gets on the loose change. Now with Devon Toews in the high slot. Toews here for Compher as they go off the give and go. It's still Toews in that same area. Toews now trying to find Mikko Rantanen near the right dot. Power play down at 20 seconds. Toews, patient. Here for Mikko. In between the circles, gets the extra pass for Artturi Lehkonen. Now Rantanen sets it up for Matthews. Here comes the slapper. This one goes up the right side of the wall where Artturi Lehkonen can recollect. Trying to bother away is Jamie Alexiak. Rantanen got a lot of space there for Toews. He'll fire a short side chance. Try to get recollected by Nathan MacKinnon as the Kraken return to full strength. Both teams have had one power play. Artturi Lehkonen had his stick lifted and now Schultz. He's back out of the box. Picks it up now, 1-on-2, trying to drive toward the right side of the red line. We'll just play this in behind the net as the Kraken. They'll turn it right over to Dennis Mulligan. And Mulligan now will get this away for the Cerulean and Maroon. There's a chance now to enter here for the Avalanche with Sam Girard. As this is played by Carson Soucy, trying to hold off the backside of his body. And this is picked up now, Tolvanen now for Gourde. As it's a 3-on-4, but the Avalanche got the 4. This will stay there. Will Borgen did a nice job. Just put this around the inboards. Now Tolvanen will do the same. As this is set in the middle of the circles, but good defense by the Avalanche. They had all the reinforcements that they needed. It's an opportunity now. Off the flip pass near the right side of the wall. But here's Seattle. And this is a backhanded pass, a hopeful one. That almost found one of the Kraken, but they're going to go ahead and take some changes as it's 17:55. We'll take on the second before we get an offside against Seattle.
Yeah, so John, I do like to see that, especially it's coming out of the intermission. Kraken, nice and solid. They had a minute of a power play for the Avs that they needed to kill, and they did that. And even though it's simple, it's literally your job when you're out there as a penalty killing unit. That's what they needed to do. They get in those shooting lanes, get in those passing lanes, and get themselves back to 5-on-5, where they've been so good this year.
Yes, they have. And again, as we talked about from the opening in this game, this is one that both teams have not wanted to make a mistake. The shot totals have been low. We'll see if Seattle can take advantage of this kind of pace and whether or not Colorado can start to find their footing, because Colorado's had a few games like this, Cooper, where they look like this, and all of a sudden you turn in the pilot light and you flip that finger, and then all of a sudden it's just a completely different game. As it's Eberle now, off the backhand. We'll set this up in the high slot. This goes off the boards again. The Zebra's got a duck, as this will fall back now for Manson. This gets stolen. Now Vince Dunn. He's pinching in deep, and now it's Seattle. This will be blocked out in front of Beniers. Will fire it wide up the backhand near the right side of the red line. This is collected by Colorado. We're pretty close to the 17-minute mark of a scoreless second period. This is game 5. And now a hand is in the air, and we'll see what it's against.
Yeah, John, I'm taking a look on my side as well. I'm not seeing anything other than it looks like perhaps Dunn for the Kraken drawing a penalty. I believe, unless, is he going to get called for interference? I think it's an interference call. I'm not sure. You have it on your side, John.
I see Logan O'Connor is the one that's going to be sitting in the sin bin, but I'm not sure for what yet.
Yeah, it looks like, if I'm getting the replay on my side here, it looks like Dunn was trying to step in and go for a stick check, and O'Connor comes flying across through the circle to Grubauer's right. And, yep, they were both outside of the play, and O'Connor takes out Dunn, knee to knee. Luckily, no injury there, but it's going to be the Kraken on their second power play of the night.
For as big as Vince Dunn is, it almost kind of looked like a ticky-tack one. I will say that. So I'm sure that the Colorado fans are going to be too happy about that, as there's a chorus of boos. But this will put Seattle on the power play for the second time. Is Wenberg now. Drop it there for Beniers. Tolvanen will get this around. It's Oliver Bjorkstrand as he tried to make a play from his knees, but he got taken down. And this is the other way now. Short-handed, Colorado can look to kill some time. And when you do have Nichushkin and some other players out there, they got some speed. So you got to be careful for the short-handed opportunities. JT Compher's already got one in this series. And now Vince Dunn will drop this back for Alex Wenberg. It'll be Olli Tolvanen now. We'll set it up here for Dunn in the high slot. Bjorkstrand patient. He didn't want to shoot it or get turned around off the backhand. They just put this around the boards. It's Vince Dunn again, looking for a deflection, and that one was probably more of a hopeful pass. As this gets sent all the way down, this is going to have to be played by Grubauer because Colorado in full flight with Andrew Cogliano. He's still got Jets at the advanced stage. As this is sent back there for Jordan Eberle. 45 seconds thereabouts to go on the Seattle power play. Don't have a shot just yet. It's Daniel Sprung, former Washington Capital, as this gets chipped into the neutral zone. Again, Colorado's kill has done an excellent job. Seattle hasn't really shown anything on this second power play just yet. Still 15 shots today, but no shots within this minute 30. As Eberle tries to flip it, this is sent back around the inboards. Can they keep it in? No, they were in the midst of the line change for Dave Hakstol's squad. As it's Schultz sending it back there for Sprung. Sprung now trying to gain some headway. It's Matty Beniers near the right side of the wall. All he can do is flip it because there's body contact in front. This is sent back around the inboards now. Off the stick lift, it's Eberle. As this is flipped all the way down the ice, and that will essentially kill Seattle's second power play. Much ado about nothing there. As Matty's got the puck, number 10. University of Michigan man gains the entry. Nice drop pass there for Sprung. He went for the complete slap shot, but he fired it way wide. And he just stick checks it in deep, so Grubauer's got to play it. 14:45 left to go here in this second. John, here within the play-by-play being joined by Cooper Hopkins for the first time in this 2023 postseason. So I'm more than happy to be able to call this game and get his thoughts. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. As this is slipped in now off the backhand and then played and picked up now by the Kraken. As it's Jamie Alexiak will send this across, and Yanni Gourde get this across the red line. Picked up by Jamie Alexiak. Again, you can always see that between that giant size. It's kind of like a Victor Hedman clone as this is sent the other way. This will go back to Alexiak. We'll flip this in across the red line, but this will bounce off Bowen Byram and picked up now. 30 shot attempts to 20. Now it's in the high slot. Morgan Geekie tries to get this one back. He's just trying to hold the line as this gets deflected, but it bounces off a bunch of abs. And now Evan Rodriguez, former Pittsburgh Penguin, will dump this one in. Bowen Byram, he's in off the forecheck now with Comfort as this gets knocked away from a couple of defense. Now Donato gets hit up high, and now he's just trying to battle this near the right side of the red line as this is just mashed up in between skate blades and sticks, but it's still live. Mikko Rantanen trying to locate. He makes a play. Is Wenberg going to be able to get this to Schultz? And now they do, does Seattle. As Schultz will be the first to get to it now, but he's going to need some help out to spin off a hit. 13:25 left to go in this fast-moving game. This bounces out in front of Gurgiev, and we have a goal! My goodness, Seattle on the board!
Wow, John, I can't believe what I just saw right there, but this has been Jaden Schwartz's game so far for the Kraken, and he puts the puck on net from a relatively tight angle, and stepping in right there for the Kraken, Morgan Geekie, John, 67 on his back, and it is his second of the playoffs from Schwartz and Wenberg, John, and out of nowhere. I thought this thing was going to be 0-0
Me too.
all the way, and it's now 1-0 Kraken.
And Georgiev just didn't locate that rebound. It fell out of his glove hand.
Yeah, it certainly did. It looks like he got it in the crook of his left elbow, and Toews was right there. And just a bit of bad luck for Toews for the Avalanche. He's looking for that rebound, but turns his back to it, and he can't get his stick on the puck to clear it out of the top of the blue paint. It sits on the doorstep and goes 5-hole. Morgan Geekie makes it 1-0 for the visitors.
Wow, I'm completely shocked. I know it wasn't a definitive call because I honestly would have thought that would have been blown dead or Georgiev would have had it, but they got the rebound, slid it past 5-hole, did Geekie in a pink visor. As this is picked up now, 17 shots to 8, 1-0 for Seattle. Here come the Avalanche. Good save by Grubauer.
Yeah, John, this is true in not only hockey. It makes me think of a lot of classic soccer games as well. There's a dangerous period after you score a goal, especially the first goal. There's a little bit of I don't want to say laying back or sitting back on your heels, but your opponent's going to come back with an extra fire, and the Avs just did that right there on that bounce back shift. So they put a nice puck on Grubauer. He makes a great save. But boy, Morgan Geekie, right place, right time for the Kraken. He makes it 1-0. And I'm not surprised that Schultz was in on that play, in on the shift for Seattle. He's looked good tonight, and he started that thing by putting the puck on net. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yes, it is. And wow, this commercial that I'm seeing in between PK Subban and Joe Thornton here, that was pretty funny if you saw that one.
That's a classic. Yep, he's looking for his chicklet. He found the wrong one. PK and Jumbo Joe. It's a little bit of a funny one for Verizon on that. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one.
I'm glad you saw that at the same time. What I was going to say here, I know we talked about it in the open, and I know we mentioned some of those names between Helm, Nichushkin, and Cale Makar, but it really, when you think about the back end two names of Nichushkin and Cale Makar, certainly feels the ill effects that Colorado is missing some of their best forwards and defense combination.
Yeah, there's no question about it, and I think that it's going to take the play of those first liners for Colorado to really elevate and pull their team to a victory if that's the way it's going to go tonight. By no means are either of us saying that the other players on the Avalanche roster can't be the ones to make the big difference, but it just seems like, and John, listen, we've seen this throughout multiple series,
Sure.
And even on their way to winning the Stanley Cup. It's going to be 29. It's going to be 96. It's going to be those big boys. And Makar, when he's in there, certainly not there tonight. But that's what I would expect. That's what we've seen and thought from the outset, and really from puck drop. Not to put the pressure on him, but he's used to having it. It's going to be a Nathan MacKinnon show, I think, if they want to get the W here.
Yeah, I think so too. As we get the face-off win for Colorado, immediately the camera cut, and it was a save for Grubauer. Again, we get to the halfway point. I'll throw it Cooper Hopkins' way. He can take it as far as he wants to go to. But if not, we're going to cover this whole game tonight and let you know everything that's going on, because this is a big swing game. And yet again, for every single game in this series, the Seattle Kraken score first, but it's Nathan MacKinnon now from Devon Toews. Series of spins, a good defense by Oliver Bjorkstrand, just to brush it away from MacKinnon. And now Toews has to start again. 17 shots to 10. Seattle has had that lead on that end for this whole game, and the shot totals have stayed low. As this is badly played by Grubauer, and Colorado scores!
Oh, my goodness, John. And it is none other than Nathan MacKinnon. That is just a bonehead play right there by Grubauer as he tries to clear the puck around the corner, and he basically passed it directly to the best player on the other team. And that puck was sent right back on net and actually bounced in. I think Grubauer may have gotten a touch on it, but either way, John, this game is tied at 1 when really it shouldn't be.
You just said it there, between 96 and 29, and who did you throw it to? 96 and 29, MacKinnon right on the doorstep. Easiest goal Nathan MacKinnon's ever going to get.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And just a correction on my summary right there. It was Grubauer's clearing attempt went right to Rantanen, and MacKinnon was crashing the net. Nobody checked him, even though Alexiak was right there, and MacKinnon basically bats that thing after the puck was tipped off of the left pad of Grubauer, who's sliding back across after that really ill-advised clearing attempt. So out of nowhere, John, it's 1-0, and I guess maybe it's the hockey gods. Out of nowhere,
Yeah, essentially at 1-1, we're back to all square, nothing. That's not the way we're going to look at it because both those goals probably shouldn't have been. But I wonder now if Seattle, again, we know that the pushback that they can provide, but they can't be the team that gives up the goals like that. Colorado can get away with it. I don't know if Seattle can continue to get away with mistakes like that. Because this is Schultz. This will be sent back now there for Gourde. And this is a turnover again in Seattle's end. Nicely paid in between the legs. That was Nieto. And this is now across the blue line side of the left as this gets intercepted by Seattle. See if they can push this the other way and see who's got life. It's Jaden Schultz. Now an opportunity off the back end. It's Morgan Geekie. He was the one that got Seattle on the board first yet again for the fifth straight game. We are in game 5 of the series tied 2-2, and it's a 1-1 score line. Here's an opportunity now. Larsson set up for Tanev. And that was a bomb off the 1-tee, but that was a good save by Georgiev, and that was in the high slot. 11 minutes left to go in the second. As this is flipped up, sent back down the ice. Well, this will be recollected here by the Kraken. Here's a long outstretched pass for Ryan Donato. And now a race for the puck is Sprong as Georgiev will play this one clean. And number 29 is already back out there again. Seven Rodriguez off the chip. Get this here for Toews as he sends this back around. The office of Philip Grubauer. Now Adam Larsson, the former Edmonton Oiler. He's been a good pickup there alongside Vince Dunn in the St. Louis Blues. And that entry draft as this is sent back around again for the Avs. Nathan MacKinnon looking to start things in his own end. This is a long outstretched pass, an opportunity for Sam Girard. Gets this along the right side wall. Artturi Lehkonen. He gets it taken away by Alexiak. Alexiak trying to finish a hit. Here's a chance for MacKinnon again. He's already back out there, as we said. Here's a spin. He gets taken down. Again, fans want a tripping call. They're not going to get one. He just blew a tire. And now Seattle looks to press the other way. It's 3-on-3. Here's a drive toward the right side. Now off the half spin. Good setup and scores! A one-time finish for the Kraken. And it's 2-1.
My goodness, what a great call by you, John. And that is a huge response from the visiting Seattle Kraken. John, they are not getting pushed around in this series. Not only did they score for the 5th game in a row, getting the first goal, but they come right back. We are exactly at the halfway point. And John, this is Cartier. I have to be honest. This is a man that you mentioned in your call in the first period. I am not familiar with him on the Kraken roster, yet he has the team in the lead right now at 2-1.
I wonder if that's his first career NHL goal and if it comes in the hands of the playoffs, because that's a great setup and a great finish by the young man.
Absolutely. I'm going to just do a little bit of diligence right here. If you could stick on the play-by-play call, I'm going to get a little background on our goal scorer wearing number 25.
Please do so. Yes.
Todd and Rachel, his parents, are in the stands tonight. Wow, what a moment for him. Welcome to the big show, my friend. That is an incredible moment to put one in. And that was no mistake, John. He ripped that thing off.
No, that was a wonderful setup. Again, we were just talking about the appropriated response there for the Kraken as we go to commercial break. How about setting up a 1-tee toward the right dot for him to get his first goal there? Because, I mean, that was a bad giveaway there for Grubauer, for Rantanen and MacKinnon. And boy, oh boy, did Seattle bounce back, not only in the perfect way, they took the lead.
Yeah, and John, this is what's fun too, and credit to the ESPN crew, their camera crew, for getting some of these good shots. We of course see his parents in the crowd there at Ball Arena, and his mother is wearing a hat with the Kraken logo on it, but that Kraken logo is on the side of the hat. On the front of the hat is the logo of the Coachella Valley Firebirds, the AHL affiliate of the Seattle Kraken. And, of course, they're a new team as well, since the Kraken are just in their second season here, and, of course, their first playoff run. But Ty Cartier, he apparently had a couple of games with the Kraken, but that is his first goal. And wow. I saw one of the trainers behind him, John, putting that stick tape around the puck. He pulled out the Sharpie, pulled the cap off, and he's writing first NHL goal for Ty Cartier. Holy goodness, that is a major moment for that young man.
The only way that would get any better is if Seattle can hold this. Again, we have 9:54 in the second, but they can hold this, and he got the GWG in his first ever playoff game. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and you know what? Not only is he on the ice for this contest, he's put in a situation where he has the opportunity to score. He makes no mistake, and guess what? He's on the roster because he's replacing 40-goal scorer Jared McCann, and this is what he does wow, that's got to be a bright future. I certainly hope that he becomes a staple, and this is the type of play that he's going to put on the ice. It's just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's a type of play. Again, you assume you get out of this series against the Avalanche, a long way to go in the series as far as that. You could have many more meaningful playoff games in this season alone as this gets blocked and sent back down to the ice. Again, Seattle is just taking the lead on that end as the young man got his first goal in the NHL playoffs, let alone his first goal in the NHL, as this is recollected now by the Avalanche. And this will be picked up across the red line now, as this is Johnson. A little spin near the right side of the faceoff dot. Now Colorado, one more time, has to find themselves behind the 8 ball. We certainly know that they can do it, but Seattle, this is the best push that I've seen, even across the Florida Panthers and the Seattle Kraken. These are two teams probably. Florida would be my top surprise, but Seattle would be number 2 on that end because they're playing the defending champs. And that's a great defensive play there by the Avalanche the other way, as that was just taken across and sent back down. Byram with the astute defensive play. And now this will be Seattle. Here's an outstretched pass as this is picked up across the Colorado emblem. Evan Rodriguez, good sauce pass out of the air. It's Nathan MacKinnon, and that tried to be tipped from MacKinnon pass to Rantanen out of the air, but this is Nathan again. And this will be flipped back down with 8:40 left to go in this second. 19 shots to 12, but Seattle's got the lead. Here's a chance for Wennberg. Trying to find Turbo. Big save by Georgiev down. Oh, that shot got blocked. That would have been a goal. But now Alexiak has to put it the other way. That was a broken stick, and that was Sam Girard. What a play.
Yeah, that absolutely saved the third goal of the night from the Kraken right there. Girard really selling out. He was just outside the blue paint. And Geeky looks up at the big scoreboard. I think he knows he had a chance to get his second of the night. But Tanev has also been very noticeable in this second period. Turbo doing a great job to get the puck on or at least near the net. And then a bang-bang play right there with Georgiev down. That was wired for the cage. And a beautiful block to keep this game 2-1.
We see some great play, great parts of this game. And Cooper, I'm glad that you're along with the ride here with me because this has been a fantastic game so far between two teams that are really good. Both of these want this, and I think both of them can get it.
Yeah, I think you're right, John. As we see Cartier now back on the ice, and guess what? Not only is he on the ice, this is what we were saying. He replaced McCann, and he didn't just slot into the lineup. He's on the first line. He's 21 years old, John. He's playing alongside 20-year-old Matty Beniers and the veteran Jordan Eberle, and he rewards the Kraken with that top-line placement by giving them the lead, at least for the time being, 2-1 Seattle.
Okay, so I know this is an open-ended question. How many NHL playoff teams would be willing to throw this man on the first line?
You got me stumped, as there he is right there, and he is wearing a jersey that looks like it's fresh off the rack from the Seattle Kraken team store where I got Mr. John on his very own Matty Beniers jersey. Cartier looks like he had to have one of the team store staff hand it to him from a hanger. He is out there tonight with a bit of a playoff beard growing. And John, just to give you a little update, a little bit of context on what he brings, he's not in there for no reason. He was the top rookie scorer in the AHL, John, with 57 points this past season. Nice. 28 goals, 29 apples with the Coachella Valley Firebirds.
Yeah, so he could definitely be a big-time player. It's a bad turnover again. Nieto, good stick there by Yanni Gourde. As it goes the other way, Tolvanen fires short side, and that almost grazed the left side of the post as we get a whistle on the stoppage with 7:24 in the second.
Yeah, and Tolvanen has been such a big pickup since being released by the Predators earlier in the regular season. Hasn't made massive impact in this series so far, but he is dangerous with the puck on his stick. And right there, you saw it. He almost snuck that one. And short side, Georgiev was sliding left to right.
Again, as I talked about this between Florida and Boston, I look at Seattle and Colorado, and I just stare at it the same way. I know I got 4 eyes, but I feel like I've had to keep them wide open in this series because I just can't believe what I'm seeing. I mean, Seattle looks just as good as Colorado in a lot of areas. It's really jaw-dropping.
It is. But you know what? The Kraken were a very, very strong team this year, and they simply won't be intimidated by the Avs. They know what they are in terms of their own gameplay, and they know what the Colorado Avalanche are too. They respect them. They know they're the defending champs, but they are confident enough to play the way they're playing, especially tonight in a really tight game. They they got themselves a lead. We'll see if they can extend it. But also, look out. You know what? Nathan MacKinnon's not going to be pushed around either. He's going to want to lead this team to a tie. And my goodness, John, I'm stepping all over your play-by-play. Tons of physicality now as the lid has blown off of this game. The Kraken are holding it in the ozone.
Yeah, Jaden Schwartz delivered a big hit in the cross-check, and the fans of Ball Arena wanted a penalty. And we will see if this opens up, because I think we're going to be in for a good finish. Good body contact off the reverse hit. And this is going to allow Geeky to be able to get this one in for Turbo. Great move for Tanev. And Geeky gets blasted. This is going to pick this back up around the reverse. And now Tanev will try to chase. 28 hits to 21 as now he goes ahead and Turbo tries to finish his hit. Evan Rodriguez can't skate forward now, but it's Nathan MacKinnon to the right side wall for drop pass. Good defense there by Matty Beniers. Again, I'm not just trying to call his name for no reason, as it's Eberle. And that wrister was fired wide up offside the glass. Here's the chance. Nathan MacKinnon. Great move. Oh, it was shot wide. Set out in front now. In Seattle, trying to escape. Evan Rodriguez takes down one of the Kraken. Chaos in front of Seattle's net. And now this gets sent away for Tolvanen. And you can take a deep breath. As I'm trying to sound like John Forzel a little bit. He's a good play-by-play man. As this is sent the other way now. Here for the Avalanche near the right side. And Johnson gets this taken away from him. Now looks Newhook will join in on the party. And Geeky will flip this one down there with Bjorkstrand. But I think this is going to get iced against Seattle.
Well, if you really wanted to be Forsland, John, you'd have to give a hey, what do you say? And I would say, if I were to say, hey, what do you say? I would say, let's play, let the bodies hit the floor, as you said once upon a time in a game that we covered. So all credit to not John Forsland, but John Ott with that one. Because, man, oh, man, all of a sudden over the last 3 minutes, John, there have been a ton of hits, and the bodies have been hitting the floor on both sides.
Yes, it has been. I know the other one is That's Kraken Hockey, baby. That's a good one. John Forsland's one of the best on that end. So we're just trying to fill these shoes. Again, it's John here with you alongside Cooper Hopkins, and we have a lot of fun doing these. I know we've covered a lot of playoff games, and it's can't ask for anything better to have Cooper Hopkins with me on this one, as it's 2-2 tie in this series here with 5 minutes left to go here in the second. And it's Seattle and Colorado, and Seattle is just in their second season in existence. And they're trying to give the Avalanche all that they can handle. I know it was a giveaway there for Grubauer, for Rantanen and McKinnon, but able to bounce right back and then make this 2-1. That's nothing short of spectacular. Again, it shouldn't be surprising, though, as this goes near in the high slide. Great play by Byram. Send this across now. Here's a shot. Good save by Grubauer. It's loose, but he finds it, and we're going to get some pushing and shoving.
Now, there's the Grubauer, John, that we have seen through 4.5 games in this series so far. He was really called into action. And I will say, several sequences ago, boy, Nathan MacKinnon gets that puck over to a teammate. And I think, John, there was a deflection, a stick check at the very last second with Grubauer down and out. He didn't have a chance to make a save there when it really should have been 2-2. But he does make a nice stop through traffic right there, controls the rebound on that most recent shot, and gets the whistle as we head to the media timeout. My goodness, the game has picked up, has it not, my friend?
Yes, it has. This has been a boatload of fun. Again, we'll just give you the stat reset here. So it's 19 shots to 15. If we're keeping track on that one there, Cooper, it seems like Colorado's starting to even things a little bit on that end. You know, they're going to push because they're down by a goal. The hits are 29-25, and the faceoffs are 21-16 in favor of the Avs. Again, in this series, we can talk about it honestly. Power play opportunities. What power play opportunities? It's either even strength or nothing.
Yeah, that seems to be the lifeblood of the Kraken. I mean, my goodness, that's where most of the game's played. So you might as well get good at 5-on-5 because that's going to be the vast majority of your time spent on the ice. And when you have youngsters like Matty Beniers, who we certainly know a lot about, the presumed Calder Cup winner, but the rookie of the year in the NHL. But then we got Ty Cartier making it 2-1 for Seattle. And Seattle's had another couple opportunities. We love to see players like Turbo and certainly Schwartz having a great game tonight. Tolvanen with a nice shot from the near side. The Kraken are doing exactly what we expected, John. They're getting contributions from all of their lines. And again, not disparaging the Avalanche, but it has been the MacKinnon and Rantanen show here for the most part.
Right.
And MacKinnon is really driving the play for the Avs, and that's all it takes. They're down by 1, and in the blink of an eye, when 29's on the ice, it can be 2-2, or even worse if you're the Kraken.
Yeah, as good as Seattle is rolling out all 4 lines, when you got 96 and 29 on that end between Rantanen and MacKinnon, respectively, those are absolute game breakers, and Seattle can't match up with that. They just got to roll out all their lines they can to stop those 2 superstars. 4:34 left to go in the second as we're going to redo this face-off. And a good stick ahead there for the Seattle Kraken to get this across. It's Tolvanen out there. He spent a lot of time on the third line for Dave Hakstol's squad as they're trying to bother Bo and Byram. Now picked up near the left side of the red line, and MacKinnon with his back pass. This will be picked up there by Borgen, and they'll flip it in across the red line now as this is recollected by Yanni Gourde. This is quickly around the kick plate and sent back around the office here of Alexander Georgiev. Good job taking the hit there was Gourde. He kept it alive, Alexiak, and Gourde was almost there for the deflection. He's had a hell of a shift right now as this is picked up now for Seattle on their own end again. And they'll flip this across quickly the other way as Oliver Bjorkstrand gains the entry. Played with a stick and recollected now by the Avs, but it's 1-on-4. That's a good back pass attempt as this gets taken away from Newhook. And now Seattle. And Justin Schultz. Good body contact there for Evan Rodriguez. We noticed a lot of him alongside that top line. Again, you're having to replace somebody like Val Nichushkin. That's not easy to do. And you think about the other Av that's not in this series, and Andre Burakovsky. He's been out for a while for the Seattle Kraken. So you got really good players that are still not even in this game alongside Jared McCann. This is picked up now for the Kraken. Having to get away a couple hits. Still able to stay on his feet was Wenberg. And now here's the race for it again near the right side of the red line as Morgan had that one bounce away from him, and this will get reset now here for Seattle and Vince Dunn. Dunn from Larsson as his pass gets taken away from Comfort, and now recollected for Sam Girard as this is normally out there with Devon Toews and flipped out. 2:50 left to go in this second. It's 20 shots to 14, and again, as we talked about, those low amount of shots, that's going to favor Seattle. That's what they want to see right now. Continue to not just lock it down. You play your game, but make sure you limit the high danger chances as much as you can. As Beniers was battling for this puck, this will stay there nicely. Great play by the rookie as this is recollected by Eberle now. Eberle patient. Off the back end, he'll just throw it off the left pad of Alexander Georgiev. And now the Avalanche, they're struggling to try to get this out of their own end. As Matty Beniers will watch, and now Cartier will try to get this across. Again, he's got the game-winning goal right now. Well, we got tons of time with 2:10 left to go in the second, but it's crazy to just say that as this is sent the other way. Here's Matty Beniers as he gains the entry. Good drop pass setup. And now Gourde. Here's an opportunity off a ripper of a slap shot. This will be kept in by Seattle as they continue to be patient. Just move this around the inboards. And now Colorado trying to find this steal. They work their way into the neutral zone. Off the drop pass there for Toews and Evan Rodriguez as it's Nathan MacKinnon. Feels like he's been out there a lot. As he gets taken down, everybody up in arms as Nathan MacKinnon got wiped out. But we're still alive right now in the minute 35. As Colorado desperate to try to keep this in the offensive zone. But here's Seattle. It's a 2-on-1. Can they get their pass across? Oh, and a fan opportunity for Seattle. That was Bjorkstrand. But Seattle still got it now. Wenberg trying to put this around the cage. Here comes the rush shot. That one gets blocked. Finishing the body contact is Alexiak, and he gives a little bit of a shove there to Nathan MacKinnon. Hits him on the bottom of the foot as he might get a penalty called.
Yeah, John, I'm taking a look at it here on my side. We are closing in on just a minute to go here, and play has been whistled down. And I think, we're going to get a retaliation call against the Kraken, and that is going to go against Tolvanen. It's going to be a slash, I believe. And let's take a look. We're getting the official call here. And again, I think my feed is a few seconds behind yours. So if you've seen the call, it looks like, we're going to get 2 minutes for slashing Tolvanen with a bit of retaliation as the intensity is picked up here in a major way late in the second.
So from what I saw, here's Nathan MacKinnon, drops his stick. So Tolvanen, he gets the hit in, but I know he got a shot in on McKinnon's legs on that end. That is just a awful penalty right there. You can't do that.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. He already put his shoulder into McKinnon. He already actually gave him a nice check. There really wasn't much much in that slash, but when you have a player like MacKinnon, and especially when he has no stick, he's basically not going to be able to defend himself with the stick shaft. No need for that from Tolvanen. Second power play of the night for the home team.
And we're just playing soccer here, kicking this one down the ice. And now Seattle Wenberg able to get to the bench. And now it's a minute 35 left to go on the power play. Boy, has this been a fantastic game. I'm glad you're here with me, Cooper, on this one. As MacKinnon able to beat 4 bowling pins for Seattle. This is going to be a broken stick near the right side that Colorado is going to have to try to acquiesce. It's Byram now for Rantanen. And Colorado's got their opportunity to tie this for the end of the second. Lehkonen now near the right dot from Rantanen. Lehkonen still with it. It's Byram. Here's a fake slapper. Set it up for Byram. Here's a bomb. Good save by Grubauer with the left pad. And Seattle gets it out. 15 seconds left to go in the second. It's Byram. They're going to have power play carryover time. Byram's got one more rush. It's Rantanen now from Lehkonen. Now it's Comfer. Set it up for Rantanen. Got to let it go quickly. That's saved by Grubauer, and that ends the second. Seattle up 2-1.
John, that is the sound of a big exhale right there, collectively for all Kraken fans. Grubauer with a couple of great saves, and make no mistake, that last one, as time expired, went right off the blocker. Grubauer had to be very aware as the second period came to an end. Again, Ty Cartier scoring with his parents in the crowd. His first NHL goal makes it 2-1 for the Kraken. That's what we will have when we hit the ice at the beginning of the third. But just like when we hit the ice at the beginning of the second, the Avalanche will have about a minute, a little less than a minute of power play time. So they will start with the extra man when we get back underway in about 15 minutes. John, the first period, second period, very, very different. We had no goals in the first, 3 goals scored in the second, and a lot of hitting. And the last thing I'll say, my friend, pretty classic for us. We went from let the bodies hit the floor to let the sticks hit the floor. Felt like there were about 10 sticks on the ice in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was. It's the same lumber that we see all the time. There's always some oddities. We're seeing it now, but I think what we're seeing now too, Cooper, is the formality of this series. Once the offense starts to get going between these two, let it fly everywhere. I think we're going to get a wild third period again.
Yeah, you are right, my friend. And I think that the Avalanche, dare I say it, I think they are starting to feel just a touch of pressure, and they're feeling it in their own building. And that's just because the Kraken are so solid. They don't get rattled. They stick to their game plan. They stick to their strategies. And it's resulted in 2 goals tonight. You know, look, they're not the Oilers. This is not a 6-3 game right now, but it's 2-1. And by no means is it comfortable, John. But I also don't expect the Avalanche to run away. Listen, Colorado might win this game because they're Colorado. But it's going to be a tight one from here on out, no matter who gets the victory.
Yes, it is. I do want to, before we get back into our series here between Seattle and Colorado, there was one other one that we didn't get to that I wanted to get your thoughts on. And again, from the very beginning, I thought it was going to be some awful news because we knew about Andrei Svechnikov wasn't going to be available for the Hurricanes, and then Teuvo Teravainen gets a broken hand. It looks like the Hurricanes are a little bit of a mash unit. And the Islanders, all of a sudden, they won the last couple here as they're trying to get things going. This game tomorrow is going to be, or not tomorrow, excuse me, it's going to be game 6 will be at UBS. It'll be 3-2 Carolina on that side. 7 p.m. on TBS. Do the Islanders get to a game 7?
You know, John, I really have to consider this one carefully because I liked what I saw from New York in their most recent game, that 3-2 win against the Hurricanes. But it's in a big but, it's in italics. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking with the upcoming contest, with the Hurricanes already in the lead, I know that they struggle, and this goes back to last year, John.
Yep.
I know how much they struggle on the road in the playoffs. But I think as they made that game 3-2, they actually had it tied. They had it tied in the second period, then the Barzal goal gave the Islanders that 3-1 lead. But Aho came back about halfway through the third, and the Carolina Hurricanes made a nice push, even though they didn't get the tying goal. I think they continue that push and actually close out the series on the road, which might sound unexpected, but call it a gut feeling. I think they're going to have what it takes.
Again, from the onset between all the capsules, I had to be Hurricanes in 7. I was wondering where the pushback from the Islanders were going to be as they started the series down 2-0. But again, it is a little bit of a mash unit for the Hurricanes. Cooper says they're going to take that one on the road. I think they'll take it at PNC. I think we will get our Game 7. But again, to your point, if we get to that Game 7, do the Hurricanes feel comfortable? Because it is Ilya Sorokin still staring them in the face.
It's true. It's true, and I think that's the biggest cornerstone, and that's not the most genius statement I've ever made. I mean, Sorokin, I think in a lot of circles is thought to be the best goalie in the National Hockey League, but that is who the Islanders are going to have to lean on. I think it's going to be very similar to this between the Kraken and the Avs. I think if the Islanders are able to win Game 6 and get the series tied and take it to 7 back to Raleigh, they are going to have to lean on their goaltending. And if Sorokin slips up really at all, and that's the tough thing for him, is there's just not a margin of error there. He has to be at the top of his game at all times, I think. Not that the Islanders aren't a good team, but they just rely more so on that goaltender.
Yeah, they can't really carry the offensive pace of play, and that's the interesting part in between both of these series is that's how it is for Carolina and for the Islanders. So there's a lot of pressure. And again, even on the open side of it, I know we didn't talk about Carolina's net minding. There was a little bit of a curious decision for me, not saying it wasn't worth it or he isn't good enough, but they didn't go with Freddie Anderson. They went with Antti Ranta, and he's had to carry the brunt of the load again.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. We can't ignore the goaltending on the other side, and I think that I still lean in on it that the Hurricanes have more to offer from more of their offensive skill players, but Sorokin is very solid in there, and the Islanders, they got that 3-2 victory, John. I think that, you know what, all bets are off in that series. It's the Hurricanes on the road, and you can't put a ton of trust in them when they're away from Raleigh. So I'm going to stick by mine. I think that they give just enough because of their offense to close out the series, but you may well be right, my friend, that it gets back to a Game 7.
So we will see what ends up happening. We're going to get back into the hockey discussion again. I just want to show this. That Ty Cartier on the other side scored an NHL debut. 2023, Cale Makar did it in 2019. Laurie Kurakowski for the Rangers. I remember him in 2008. And then I see Rod Brennamore from 89 for the Blues. So not very often we have a history like that. Very cool.
Yeah, that is cool to see. And boy, I actually haven't thought of this name in a while for the Maple Leafs. Adam Mayer. It makes me think on my old PC at my parents' house playing NHL 99 and NHL 2000. Adam Mayer. Wow. Not necessarily a Hall of Famer, but hey, he's on a list with some pretty cool names. And now Ty Cartier part of that as well, getting a goal in his debut. And it's got his team up 2-1. I can't get over it. I can't imagine what Seattle Kraken Twitter is doing right now. They must be going crazy for the young guy with his team in the lead.
Absolutely. I do just want to cross sports there for a moment because I know we have a lot going on today. We're just going to give you some NBA final scores here. So the Grizzlies, they avoid elimination. They get a 116-99 win over the Lakers. Again, there is a lot of controversy there between Dillon Brooks, Ja Morant, should we say, leave it at that. When you call LeBron James old, you wonder how all that stuff's going to work out. It didn't work out so well in Game 4. So the Lakers will go back to Crypto.com Arena and try to dispatch the number 2 seed as the 7 seed. I think the LA Lakers will get that done. We do have a series closeout. The New York Knicks, they're going to begin in the second round. It was all over the Cavs, 106-95. And then the 2 games in progress. Again, we know the best player in the world's on the floor for the Milwaukee Bucks, but they're down 3-1. But they're probably going to take this game. It's 102-86 as we enter the fourth quarter. It's all Bucks. And then the one that's very close, too close to call right now, are the Warriors and Kings. The Dubs are up by 3, 64-61.
Yeah, John, even though we don't talk about it all that much, it's been a really intriguing first round in the NBA. And I'm just, again, this is sort of what I set up for you when we started our broadcast, or at least early in our broadcast. What series has been most interesting to you? I know that some of them have been closed out now, so it could be one that's over already. But what's been your favorite? What's on your radar, my friend?
I think I'm going to go with the 2 in the West, and I'm going to start with the one that I mentioned. When you think about all the traffic that's in front of the Memphis Grizzlies there with Ja Morant and Dillon Brooks, Again, I know we haven't talked a lot of NBA, but you and I are sports fanatics. We follow a lot of that stuff. I don't think there's a lot of Memphis people outside of Memphis that actually like the Grizzlies too much. And I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't root for one of the childhood idols in The Last Dance and Michael Jordan. When you think about LeBron James, you certainly had a tenure in respect. I actually am pulling for the Lakers big time. I want to see them get it done.
Hey, no, I'm with you, my friend, and I think there were times during the season that people counted the Lakers out. I mean, they had some stretches where their play was suspect, to say the least. But you know what? This is what they do so well, especially with players like LeBron and Davis. It's like when they get the chance in his playoff time, you really see what they're made of and what they care about. And the Lakers, yeah, they have what it takes to make a really, really serious run here, don't you think?
They do. And just the other day, again, we know he's in his 20th season, but LeBron had a 20-point, 20-rebound performance. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, it's just out of what would be normal comprehension, right? You'd think at this point, and with especially with what he's accomplished, you couldn't blame him if even when it's the playoffs, I'm going to hit the floor and I'm going to give it as much as I can. Maybe I can give 75% tonight. Maybe I can give 80%. No, he's going to give 100%, and that 100% is so far beyond any other player's 100%. Still at his age, it's just so impressive to see, to get that type of stat line. I mean, John, what can you say? LeBron James is one of the very small handful of best players who've ever done it.
Yeah, and again, everybody has those conversations about who's the greatest of all time, and we're not going to have those ones today. But certainly, when LeBron's all said and done, his longevity is unparalleled past anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other one, John, too, is that I know that the things hang in the balance. We've talked about some of these NHL series that have been hanging in the balance, but the Warriors with Poole not playing at the top of his game have come back in that series. The Kings look so good, and I think maybe caught the Warriors napping a bit, because the Kings, of course, since we're talking about players like Adam Mayer and their first goals back in '99. We're looking at players in the NHL who scored in their first games 20 years ago. It was almost 20 years. I think it was 17 years between playoff appearances for Sacramento. The Warriors get a bit surprised by that performance by Sacktown, and they go down 0-2 for the first time in the Curry era. Now it's 2-2, and I know there's a lot of time left in the game, but the Warriors seem to be finding that gear that we're so used to them getting to, which is just pushing past their opponents so easily.
Yeah, they have been, but the one thing that's been a big oddity for me is the Golden State Warriors are like one of the worst road teams I've ever seen this year. It's absolutely crazy, because you think with Steve Kerr and the personnel they have on there, you would get maybe more than, and again, I might be off by a couple of games here, but more than 13 road wins in a season? I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's wild. The disparity between the home and away performances are stunning, to say the least. And it's the other side of the spectrum. If LeBron's performance in that 2020 game is stunning in a really wonderfully positive way, yeah, it's stunning in such a disappointing way for Golden State. But they are on the road tonight and still hold that lead. Right now, 7:20 in the third. It's showing on my side they have a 6-point lead at 74-68. So we'll see if they can put a chokehold on the series tonight in Northern California.
So we will see about all that stuff. I wanted to get your thoughts, because I saw this go across the ESPN ticker. I know we're in the middle of the intermission. Is Robbie Ray done for the year?
Yeah, John, he only made one appearance, one start for the Seattle Mariners, the 2021 Cy Young winner then, and of course at the time was the Toronto Blue Jays. Had sort of an up-and-down year last season for the Mariners, but definitely was a contributor. Struggled a bit in the playoffs, and then comes out after what looked to be a normal offseason, normal spring, comes out for his first performance and leaves the game early with what was an issue with his throwing elbow tendon, and goes on the 15-day injured list. The specialists find, John, that there is a larger tear in that tendon. I believe it's a flexor tendon in the elbow, and for that reason, even though the tendon's not completely torn, I should say, if he were to try to continue to throw this year, he could put his health and even his career in danger. Doesn't sound like he's going to need anything super significant like Tommy John, but he will need surgery and rest, and that means he is done for this season.
Yeah, I know it's so early in the baseball season, but we know the Seattle Mariners are in the AL West, and that's a dogfight, so you don't want to lose the Troopers that can certainly put you into a playoff spot where Seattle's trying to get to once again.
Yeah, and Jerry DiPoto, the GM of the Mariners, and manager Scott Service, of course, were asked immediately after the news broke about what their plans are for their rotation. At the bottom of their starting five is Chris Flexen, who a couple of years ago was a really nice addition for the Mariners. Came over, I believe he was playing in Korea after having bounced around the major leagues and contributed beautifully for the M's. And then his performance has fallen off. He ended up going to the bullpen not too far into last season. And then because of the injury to Robbie Ray, gets called back up to jump into the rotation as the fifth starter. Basically, it's an automatic L for the Mariners when Flexen takes the mound, unfortunately. So what I was mentioning about Service and DiPoto is they have essentially admitted they're going to be looking for additional help when it comes to starting pitching.
Yeah, because you can't just have Luis Castillo continuing to destroy everybody this year. Boy, has he been excellent.
Yeah, I was a little bit not nervous about that pickup, but I sort of wondered how committed he would feel to the Mariners when he came over from the Reds. But he certainly seems to like the move that he made, and he's playing that way. He cares about the team. I think he likes being the ace on the staff, and he certainly has been an ace. He hasn't been untouchable, but man, oh man, his stuff has been electric. And look out, yeah, if the Mariners can rely on him for some wins this year, that will be an important piece. And they're going to have to do something to replace Robbie Ray. He was the de facto number 2. You still have guys like Logan Gilbert. He's no pushover. And Marco Gonzalez, still a solid contributor, lengthy tenured Mariner. But yeah, the rotation now for the Mariners, which was their top strength, John, is looking like it's up in the air.
Again, we have a long way to go in the season, but I'm looking at the standings right now as we're in the middle of our intermission, and I see the Pittsburgh Pirates lead the NL Central. I think I had to wipe my glasses when I seen 17-8 for the Buccos.
Yeah, surprise. From the doldrums of the Major League Baseball world, all of a sudden the Pirates, they're at least making some noise here in the first couple of months. We'll see if they can sustain it. But yeah, it's nice to see Pittsburgh doing a little something other than just dwelling in the basement.
And then you have the Tampa Bay Rays on the other side that continue, although they've lost a couple in a row. They're still 14-2 at Tropicana. They're 20-5 on the year. Again, if you play in the AL East, good luck to you because it's a dogfight. You could essentially have 5 teams finish above 500, but only a couple of them will make the postseason.
Yeah, the AL East, and that's what we saw last year too. And I just as you alluded to, I expect the same this year.
So it should be a lot of fun. Again, we will talk about some of the other NHL games and things in progress as we're still in the intermission. Again, it was Florida. They avoided the going down in Game 5. It will extend it to Game 6. FLA Live Arena. None other than Matthew Tkachuk. He was the one that got the game winner. And then when I look into the full scoreboard again, I'll have the coverage tomorrow. I'll be doing the call about 7:15 Eastern for Tampa and Toronto. We will see if it's Scotiabank. If Toronto can knock off the Bolts, I think Cooper's thinking one more here for the Bolts at least. I might be thinking the same, but boy, oh boy, they had a 3-goal lead the other day with 10 minutes left to go in the third. And that was one of the best comebacks I think I've seen all year, all things considered, because it was against the Bolts.
Yeah, and this may be just the very, very beginning of a hint that I certainly don't want to say that Tampa Bay's tides are turning, that they're going to just overnight become a less of a team than they've been and what we've been accustomed to from them for so many seasons now. But they have had the Leafs number, and all of a sudden it looks like the Leafs now may have the Lightning's number. So it's a big development either way. And yeah, when you're starting to give up 3-goal leads like that, maybe it's just playoff run fatigue. Maybe it's just the Maple Leafs knowing their opponent a little better now, or maybe it's that their roster is just that much tighter, and they're that much more fine-tuned to take themselves deeper into the. My gosh, it doesn't even sound that deep, but for the Leafs, they haven't been there since 2004 to go to the second round. That's deep. So I know they're chomping at the bit to get past Tampa Bay here.
And they want to do so. And I just want to make this point real quick before we get in the third. Derek Lalonde was doing the coverage at CBC side, and John Cooper was accusing his former assistant coach for giving the scouting report there for the Maple Leafs. Everybody's got the scouting report on Vasilevsky at this time of year. Let's not make excuses.
Yeah, no question about it. And we are, speaking of great goaltenders, we got a couple of good ones here in this game. They both had to make some good saves. Grubauer's going to have to make some saves here. You would think on this power plays, we're back underway. The third period has begun. John, keep it going, my friend, unless you need to rest that voice. You've been doing a great job tonight as the Kraken lead here, 20 seconds, I should say, into this third period by a score of 2-1.
All right, I'll keep it going then. So it's Devon Toews with Nathan MacKinnon now. Toews, hitter set up for MacKinnon in the high slide, drop right back to Toews instead of taking it. Now Nathan, one more time. Extra pass across for Mikko Rantanen near the right dot. It's Toews. Power play is going to expire. Rantanen, sacrificial block the other way. This is kept in by the cerulean and maroon. Now MacKinnon will fire it off of a long block. This will be recollected there for Wemberg. Still with the Avalanche now. They're down a goal. They don't want to go down 3-2 in the series. And again, I can't believe we're saying that, but that is a situation in front. And Toews in a good save. The stoppage, 18:51 left in the third.
Yeah, earlier before the power play expired, John, I thought that Rantanen was going to let one fire from the far circle, and he ended up getting a shot. He did end up getting a shot off, and that one made contact with Alexiak's leg, and I think that he is limping off here, so we have to keep an eye on number 24 in white. Alexiak, definitely a solid defensive performer for Seattle, and they're going to need him as we continue. Hopefully he can stay in this game.
So Sam Girard is sent back around. This is a big-time slap shot. This will fall right back to the Kraken, however. And now it's Oliver Bjorkstrand. We'll flip this one in deep near the left side of the red line. Recollected now by Seattle. Here's a couple of battles there in between Wemberg. Wemberg now will get a chance to pick this back up here for Bjorkstrand. This will settle it back to the D as they'll flip it back around the end boards. Oliver Bjorkstrand still with it. Send it back across to his defense. One more time. Scores! What a huge goal for Seattle. They're up by 2.
John Ott, things are getting very interesting in Denver. Bjorkstrand from distance. I don't think that puck hit a body. I think that it just went through traffic, as you said. But no, we're going to get Yanni Gourde celebrating. So maybe there was a deflection, John. I don't actually care if I'm wrong. I'm pretty excited, and I can't believe it's a 3-1 game. The visitors now lead by 2.
Good job there by Bjorkstrand to keep it alive a couple times. Susie let it go. I think they'll give the partial deflection there, but it doesn't matter. It's a 3-1 lead. 3-1.
Yeah, and that is huge here. Just a minute and 40 seconds into this third period. And you know what? We were talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, guess what? Yanni Gourde, he has his name on the cup, my friend, with those Lightning from several seasons prior. Now he's here with the Kraken, and that is a veteran move right there. Gets himself into a good position, seals off his defender, and gets just a kiss on the puck as it flies through from the blue line, and it finds twine. 3-1 Kraken.
And Matty Beniers got robbed by Guriev.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, he did. I'm sorry I'm on top of your call, my friend. Again, with the few second delay there, sometimes I forget what's going on. But Matty Beniers didn't forget anything. He put himself right into the slot, down in the blue paint, and he dropped a little you-know-what bomb. I think he knows it should be 4-1, but Guriev slammed the door shut.
And Cooper, that was Cartier again. He set up Beniers. This kid's had a fantastic game.
Yes, he has. He should be very, very proud of himself. And boy, oh boy, one of the Av defenders almost pushed the puck back through Gorgiev's 5-hole right there. So Beniers just that close, inches away from making it 4-1 Seattle.
I know this is just an open-ended question here, Cooper, but how many more minutes is it going to take? We're at 17:51 before Colorado puts the afterburners on and goes all-out offense.
Well, let's keep an eye on our time on ice stats here, John, because I think it's going to be, if it weren't already the MacKinnon and Rantanen show, and listen, MacKinnon's out there right now, he's going to be a workhorse even more so than normal. I think that Jared Bednar knows 29 is going to have to lead the dance here. He's going to be on that dance floor pretty much consistently throughout the remainder of this regulation.
So just in this series alone, 15 goals by 13 different skaters. They've been doing that all across the regular season, but this is a whole different animal in the postseason, and they're still doing it now. Here's MacKinnon off the drop pass, trying to find Lehkonen. Good block the other way by Gourde. This is Evan Rodriguez settling through the blue paint, trying to find a chance for MacKinnon. And now this might fall to MacKinnon, but good active stick lift. As Daniel Sprong will take a look. He's just going to go to the bench. And Seattle did an excellent job clearing that one down, as this will find Samuel Girard. 17:05 left to go in this third. It's a 3-1 lead for Seattle over Colorado at Ball Arena. They're trying to take a 3-2 series lead, as this is played but not kept in. It'll have to be a race for the puck now. And again, we talk about it from the open. Cale Makar suspended for this game. At the hit against Jared McCann, they're thinking McCann may be out for the rest of the series, but not out for the rest of the playoffs. Should Seattle advance, they're still going to have to win one more at least against Colorado, even if they do so right now. Still tons of time left, though, for Colorado and the defending champs to make a statement. You got to imagine number 96 and 29, Rantanen and McKinnon will get that done. Now Johnson, this goes high off the left side of the end glass. Dennis Morgan trying to get around there as Colorado trying to just chip and chase, move this thing around the horn, get a shot. Set up now for a confer. As this is let go, this one's fired wide near the left side red line. Colorado will collect again. Now they're getting some sustained zone time. Mikko Rantanen in the high slot. He'll fire through the traffic. Big save. Grubauer down. Where's the puck? He's got it.
Philip Grubauer coming through in a major way. He was spread eagle right there, right in the middle of the crease. Players flying all over the place, diving down in front of him. Tolman is there near the crease. And we got Geeky down low. Grubauer, we can see, I got the close-up shot on the ESPN side. His playoff beard getting stronger and stronger, just like his play tonight. Huge save.
And 18 out of 19 here. Again, if you're Seattle, you've kept the activity level low against Grubauer, but as Cooper just said, he's had his A-plus game for as much as he's needed to right now. And he's going to have to really carry that extra plus here, Cooper, because we know Colorado's going to push.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I think that push is already starting to come here. Seattle did pull ahead on the shot board, 23-20, but Colorado closing it down now to get a nice ozone face-off win.
So Evan Rodriguez trying to locate this thing against Vince Dunn. As this flip back around McKinnon with a quick wrap-around turn. And that was a blistering shot considering he just got a chance to look up front. And now Turbo has it. We'll just let it fly. And this goes now near the left side of the red line, trying to get picked up now as Seattle again. It's very important that they hold this 2-goal lead as much as possible. I know that's an understatement, but this is the Colorado Avalanche. But the talks that we've had from last year in between the Lightning and the Avalanche in the Cup final, this is a different team, but we know they have the heart of the champion. And they're not going to get away without throwing some haymakers. As this is now near the left side of the red line. It's Bo and Byram trying to get a piece of it as Colorado desperate to get this out of their own end. And this will be flipped up now across the right side of the red line. Bo and Byram against Ryan Donato. Byram overskates it, but this will be an opportunity off the delayed offside for Colorado to get some set pieces out there and get going right to left. As they'll try to find it there with Nieto. This is picked off, though, by Seattle, as Colorado couldn't keep it in the zone. Flip down the ice, and this will be blown dead against Seattle.
Wow, John, yeah, we've now started to see exactly what we predicted. A lot of number 29 in cerulean and maroon, and he is continuing to drive the play for his team. And the Kraken, they're holding strong, John. They have not let in really much in the way of high danger chances, although I will say from several shifts ago, Rodriguez put one across that I thought Lehkonen might have been able to tap in. About half the net was wide open, but the puck bounced over his stick. That could have been 3-2, but here we are. Kraken still with this 2-goal lead, and Grubauer does cover up here. Again, I know I keep mentioning this. I know I'm a few seconds behind you, but yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on the time on ice because MacKinnon and Rantanen they are definitely going to get their cardio this evening.
They are, and they keep flipping Rantanen now to try to win the face-off to MacKinnon to set him up for that right-handed snipe shot. That's what Jared Bednar is looking at right now. Again, as you spoke about it, scoring chances just 2-1 in favor of Seattle in this third. And it's a good about 6 minutes into this third right now, so they're holding Colorado as much as they can, and Seattle is not trying to just lock it down a little too early. They're still playing their offensive game, which is good to see, as Colorado has it now in their own end with Bo and Byram. 24 shots to 20. We've mentioned that Colorado is starting to improve and get closer to break even, but now they got to break even on the score line as we get a stoppage with 13:58. They're down by 2.
Yeah, and you know what, John? It's for me the Ty Cartier show with that second goal, which right now, as you stated earlier, would be the game winner, which is almost unbelievable. But and also, I just want to mention, this is somebody we noted made a shot block, and Jimmy Oleksiak looks like he's fine. He's back out for his normal shifts. But the youngsters have been very noticeable. Schultz has been very noticeable for the Kraken, and I will say Turbo as well, even though he hasn't shown up as much yet in the first few minutes of this third period. Tanev for Seattle has also looked very solid and creating some opportunities as well. So there it is, John, as we name names. It's players up and down this roster that are being noticeable and making contributions.
And I know this extends to the regular season as we talked about, but this is the playoffs and a whole different animal. I don't care who's gone and who's still left here for the Avalanche. Seattle is playing their same game, and they're playing against the defending Stanley Cup champions. This is incredibly impressive. I know what they're going to say in the locker room. Everybody's going to be confident, and I really don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'm going to wait until we get to the next part of the series if we can get there. But if Seattle does knock off Colorado, this has a feel, without Marc-Andre Fleury, but you know what I'm going to say, this has a feel of the inaugural season of the Vegas Golden Knights. I really think Seattle can get this job done if they can get past Colorado. They've played incredible so far.
Yeah, I mean, hey, why not conjure it up? Why not reference that magical Knights run from their first year? You know, this is a team, especially if, and this is one of the very first things you mentioned, John, especially if Grubauer is going to stay at this level of play.
Right.
That's exactly what a team that goes on a run is going to need. And I don't think anyone expected Grubauer to find that gear, but guess what? It was always there, and he just happened at the right moment to be able to click into it. And it looks like it's not going anywhere. I mean, if he's not going to get shaken by the defending Cup champs, who is he going to get shaken by? I think that's a tough question to answer.
And that's what we will have to figure out again, if this is just a one-off against his former team or if this is going to be anything more than that. But I feel like this can continue, especially with the way that Seattle is playing. As we have 13:35 left to go in the third. Here's a race for the puck, and that was almost turned over to the side of the net, but it was saved by Georgiev. And now it's an opportunity. Lars Eller, who's the Washington Capitals pickup. Somebody's got to be able to grab the bull by the horns here. And I don't think it needs to be just MacKinnon and Rantanen. They got to provide the same Seattle approach as Colorado. I know they're missing pieces, but you got to be able to show up big. I mean, you have a game on your home ice right now. You do have Game 7 if it gets to that point, but I don't even think you want to leave it to chance now. There's still so much time left here, Cooper. Colorado's got to get this tied up now.
Yeah, they do, and you know the old saying is the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous in hockey, and that's what the Kraken have right now. And yeah, they're playing against none other than Colorado, so I think they'd be well served to try to find one more. And like you said, that's the game they're playing right now. They're not going into a shell. They're still trying to get up ice, get through the neutral zone, and create chances. So
Rantanen got taken down, and then obviously almost a short-handed chance for Bjorkstrand the other way that went wide. He was on a semi-break as this is picked up here for the Avalanche. That was almost a mini disaster. And now Seattle, here's Bjorkstrand again. I'm sure he's at a petroleum off the end of the shift. And this will be brushed here for Georgiev. And again, for Georgiev, it's another one of these situations as Cooper and I talked about. I think he's just been okay. He hasn't outplayed Grubauer on the other end, and they certainly expected more. Because when it was Darcy Kemper on that side last year, I mean, he had games, Cooper, alongside Paulo Francois, where he shut the door. He's going to have to do so now for the rest of this game in order for Colorado to have a chance. As they continue, Seattle does to just pressure Colorado in their own end. And this is picked up now for the Avalanche. We'll see if they can get something going here for Johnson. Johnson's going to need some reinforcements here. Here's a shovel pass as Cogliano tries to finish off a hit. And recollected near the right side of the red line. Nathan MacKinnon back out there, forced to steal. Trying to plap the backhand, walking on, slap shot. Oh, and it was shot wide. That bounced out in front at 90 miles an hour. as this goes the other way now. Matty Beniers trying to locate it, and Seattle gets the steal momentarily as Nathan MacKinnon. Well, he just seemed like he was in the offensive end because he was, but now it's Sam Girard getting the entry. This is brushed off the left pad of Grubauer. They're getting dangerously close to the halfway mark of the third, and Colorado down by a pair of goals. Unbelievable. They're a ball arena right now. They can't play all the small things until they start scoring a couple more goals here. Devon Toews has got it now. They'll flip this pass from 50 feet, trying to play off the backhand, but Colorado's offsides.
Yeah, John, you made a couple of good points there. First, Nathan MacKinnon is everywhere. That's exactly what we knew would happen. And then, the Avalanche actually created a really good opportunity for themselves right there. And a 90-mile-per-hour slap shot from a few steps inside the blue line goes wide. And I think that some of the fans on the near side here actually thought the puck went back into the net. We saw a couple of rows of Avalanche fans jump to their feet thinking that the deficit was cut to 1 goal, but that was not correct. It went all the way to the inboards. And then also, let's not forget Bjorkstrand, who goes forehand, backhand several shifts prior. He had Georgiev down and out. If he would have been able to elevate accurately, it would be 4-1 right now.
Unbelievable. 10:50 left to go in the third. Again, I know I'm repeating myself on that end, but I shouldn't be surprised about what I'm watching, but yet, because what we saw last year, I am, Cooper, admittedly on that side. So I'm trying to do my best here, but this is just a sight as this is recollected now. But again, that's what makes the Stanley Cup playoffs so great. That's what makes all sports so great. In the playoff year, anything can happen. Still tons of time, though. Mikko Rantanen. We'll play this now. Here comes the bomb. Big save by Grubauer as it falls to Devon Toews, but he can't hold it. And now Seattle can push it the other way. Bjorkstrand back out there off his forehand now. Good diving play by the Avalanche and Mikko Rantanen. So the best players are still playing defense as they knocked away an opportunity from Bjorkstrand. But Bjorkstrand gets back up. It's Jaden Schultz. Good playing between the legs to find Bo and Byram. And now Byram can settle it down. We've officially hit the halfway point here, Cooper. It's 25-23 on the shot board. Seattle's still up by 2. Here's a forehand opportunity swallowed up by Grubauer.
Yeah, John, I think let's just call a spade here. I know there are many elite, truly talented and impressive top lines in this league, but you can still, after all these years, you can still put the Colorado Avalanche's first line up against any other team's first line. It's just that simple. That play by Rantanen right there, you do not see every player even show a willingness to make a diving stick check play right there went down. And I know it's the playoffs, you're going to get extra effort from your top guys, but that was impressive. Listen, I'm a Seattle guy here. Yeah, deep down, I'm rooting for the Kraken. But when I see things like that, that just taps me back into being a hockey fan. That was an incredible hockey play. And it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, John. I know you know that. But man, oh man, I think we were both impressed by that effort from 96.
It shows up on the rest of your team and Jared Bednar, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jared Bednar, to his credit tonight, man, that guy knows how to dress. He's got the 3-piece suit on. He's wearing cerulean maroon. He's got himself a Windsor knot. The tie is crisp. The haircut. I mean, Jared Bednar, even if they take the L tonight, he's looking GQ. And so tonight, there's lots to be impressed by. So Jared Bednar, I usually use the phrase tip of the cap, even though there's a tip of the cap to Rantanen, MacKinnon for doing what he always does, and a tip of the cap to Jared Bednar for keeping some class on that Colorado bench.
And the one thing we can say, too, when this series resumes and it goes back to Climate Pledge Arena, it'll be like getting a trade deadline acquisition when we see Cale Makar in Game 6.
Yeah, and you know what? And certainly we're not trying to get ahead of ourselves right here or make any grand assumptions. But either way, regardless of the outcome here, there will be another game at Climate Pledge, like John just said. And one of the big differences is going to be Cale Makar will return. Jared McCann will not. And we talked about which team was going to feel that absence more tonight. I think John was right on. He made Makar his pick. Who's going to miss that their player? Yep, I think Makar has been missed tonight, no doubt about it. The Kraken still have those 3 goals. They're finding contributions, even from their rookie in his first game. But if you continue on that path without McCann, it's going to be a tough one. Kraken showing some resiliency here, though.
Yeah, Jared McCann's a 40-goal scorer, as we talked about. So JT Compher plays this one back near the right side of the red line now around the boards. As this gets recollected by Larsson, he tried to make a play, It got shoveled away from him, and now Comfort. He's trying to get back on this thing as Bjorkstrand trying to hold him down now with Yanni Gourde. As this gets recollected, 5 of 6 shots there by defensemen. As this is sent back down by Bjorkstrand. And he'll just kick it back down the ice. He lost his stick yet again, so he's going to go ahead for a change. And now Colorado starting to run out of time here. 9:05 left to go in the third, although I will say with bated breath because we know about Rantanen and MacKinnon. They're still back out there. And they can score a couple minutes apart. We've seen that a couple times in this series, all of a sudden turning it around. It's up to Seattle to lock it down at this point now. This is a long shot by Schultz. Georgiev will hold on to it with 8:52 in the third.
Yeah, and so John, let's loop back to a couple of things we talked about early in the game. Now, on some of these goals, I don't think that Georgiev had a chance, especially on that Cartier goal. I think that, I don't want to put words in your mouth, I think that your assessment of him being just kind of average, I think that's what I'm getting from him in this game in particular as well.
I think so. I don't think the narrative's really changed. He's not been bad, but he's being outplayed by Grubauer, and that's certainly something going into the series that I don't think I would have expected, as Grubauer was able to reach behind him and hold on.
Yeah, no, I like just to wrap up your thought right there. I agree with you. I don't think you or anyone else expected Grubauer to be the better of the two. Georgiev by no means has been bad. This is kind of me repeating what my thoughts were early in the game. But, yeah, he's being outplayed by the goalie across the ice, and that's a huge, huge get for the Kraken. It's almost like they have a new goaltender. I mean, Grubauer is absolutely talented, but it's a totally different different level in their game, and it's the difference is showing tonight.
No, that's a wonderful point by you, because when I thought about it as far as the capsules, I said you're going to need to get a goaltender that has like 35 points more in the save percentage. Well, that's what Grubauer's doing. It's a whole new addition on that side. And another shot block. That one was Jaden Schultz as Seattle continues with the puck. And now Bjorkstrand. Schultz very slow to get to the bench. I think he's just feeling that one in toward the right leg, but he'll be all right. But he's bending down, holding on that leg. It's the price you pay this time of year. But Seattle's been good at that. Here comes a long slapper. Now in the middle of the slot as we get a half and half. And that was a good save by Georgiev in the high slot.
Yeah, John, if we're picking 3 stars tonight, and again, there's still 8 minutes to go here in the third period, 8 and change, I'm putting Schwartz in there somewhere.
Yep.
He's just done so much for the Kraken, and he's been noticeable really in every way. And again, like his teammates, and like we've seen the Colorado Avalanche do as well, this is the time of year, as you said, not to steal your phrasing, but he's trying to rub out a bruise on his leg there on the bench, kind of doubled over. That's the price you pay. You got to keep that puck as far away from your cage as you can. He certainly did.
So Matty Beniers can't win a key draw, because this will go back now here for Toews, and they'll play this off the backhand. Colorado, they could use a power play or something at some point to get things going, because Seattle keeps this 5-on-5. As we talked about, Seattle was top 4 5-on-5 play across the league. That was one of their better strengths. One of their weaknesses, again, they were about 23rd in between the penalty kill and power play, so keeping this on 5-on-5. This is certainly a favor for the Seattle Kraken. I know that sounds weird to say against the Avalanche, but it's the truth. This is what they're really good at. Now, Vince Dunn will play this off the backhand. And again, if it wasn't by a misplay by Grubauer, who's been pretty good tonight, nonetheless, this could be a 3-0 game, or even a 4-0 game if Bjorkstrand finishes off the breakaway. That's how good Seattle's played in this game. Donato trying to keep this alive as he was taken down. And now this is a rush the other way, as it's Comfort. He delivers a reverse hit, and Grubauer will watch this go near the left side of the red line as this gets recollected off the back skate. And it's such a luxury right now, but again, we're seeing this in this game in particular. It doesn't matter what line you roll out there right now, Cooper, between these 4. It looks like the same one on the ice, and Seattle just continues to play their game.
Yeah, they do. It's almost like you can't tell the difference between line 1, line 4, line 2, line 3. It doesn't matter the defensive pairing. You're getting the same amount of effort, and really it seems the same amount of skill. They're dangerous up and down. And, yeah, John, one other thing I want to mention, too, is Donato. When he went down in the corner to Georgiev's right, I thought that was going to be a penalty. It looked like at least an interference. There's some knee there, but no call.
So Bjorkstrand able to force the steal with Tolvanen, and now that same line's out there doing that again. They just keep pushing them back. Here's a steal. Backhand save, Georgiev. That's a stonewall against Tolvanen. They needed that.
Oh, yes, indeed. They absolutely had to have that. And let's give Georgiev his props as well. He's made a couple of big stops. There was a Bjorkstrand effort earlier. Now Tolvin, he gets stoned. So Georgiev is, even though we're using the A word, average is how we described him, he's made some that are certainly not that. He's had a couple of really exceptional moments tonight as well.
Yep, and they needed that. And again, it's just uncharacteristic. Again, no Cale Makar, I get it, but when they're behind their defensive zone right now, Seattle just keeps pressing, as you said, Cooper, on that side, and they're forcing the defense of the Avalanche to turn it over.
Yeah, John, and we just are looking here now at the shot board, 26-25. It's a close one, but the Kraken still with that 2-goal lead at 3-1, and we're now just about 6 minutes to go here in the third. This has been an exciting one. Some opportunities for Colorado Avalanche have gone begging. Seattle Avalanche, the Kraken coming the other way. They're still dangerous offensively as well.
And Devon Toews, he got smoked on a shot block. Is this picked up by Gerard? Nice slide off the tip. Grobauer with a big save. And Seattle clears it down the ice.
Yeah, we're officially going back now. Grubauer got a piece of that one with the big trapper. He saw the rebound right out in front. He paddled it away, and it gets cleared down. Grubauer again, huge stop.
5:35 left to go in this third. The Avalanche need 2 goals. Again, they got one more game coming at least, but they don't want to go down in the series. Big slap shot, and the shot goes wide across the right side of the red line. Is it held in by Seattle? This will touch the stick of Georgiev. And now the other way. The shot board does read even, but the score line does not. Again, Ty Carte would have the game-winning goal if this stands. And that is the rookie making his debut in his first ever NHL goal, and it's against the Avalanche in the playoffs in a critical Game 5. How cool is that? As this is picked up now by Tolvanen in a backhand attempt. Again, Tolvanen, nothing flashy here, Cooper, but I called his name a lot. He's been good in this game. He's made the right play when he's needed to.
Yeah, and you know what? We have a list that continues to grow of Seattle Kraken players that are just simply being good. Has any one of these players been contributing exactly what Nathan MacKinnon does for the Avalanche? Not necessarily, but the number of Seattle Kraken players that are being noticeably good, really solid, smart players. That's why they have this lead, and that's why with under 5 minutes to go here, they're looking like they are just steps away from taking a 3-2 series chokehold in this thing.
And I know it's obvious to say, Cooper, but I'm just going to jump on that point. Give me players that play good across all the lines outside of 2 or 3 superstars any day of the week. I think that's what you need in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've seen the amount of shot blocks, the amount of selfless play here from Seattle, and they've benefited their goaltender on that side for making sure that he can see the shots and everything else against him. Again, Grubauer's been really good, but the defense in front of him and everybody else, even on the forwards, they've come back off the back check. They've helped out a lot. It's been a great game for Seattle.
Yeah, it has. And, the Avs, to their credit, too, they've put a little push on here over the past handful of shifts. I think they know this is the time of the night when you're down by 2. You just have to get something on net. And they are firing whenever given the opportunity. And that begs the question, John, since I think we are just a couple seconds inside 5 minutes to go, at what point do you think, if the scoreline stays the same, even if the Avs were to get one in the next couple of minutes, when do you think we see Georgiev head to the bench for that extra attacker?
Even if they get one, like you said, I still think down 2, you have to do it at least at the it's at 4:53 now. I would say at least at the 3-minute mark. You might entertain 3:30 here.
Man, we've partnered up many times for a reason, my friend. Exactly what I was thinking. 3 minutes, and if you want to play a little extra risky, 3.5. You just took it right out of my brain.
So we will see here again. Everybody standing, clapping here at Ball Arena. But Cooper, I know when we talked about keeping things in the calendar, did you ever expect to see this right now for where we're at with 4:53 left? I certainly didn't.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, we picked this thing. We have been both looking forward to this for days now, and this is, in spite of you getting tons of action and calling so many of these playoff series, I had a feeling this might be an exciting one. It started off a little tentative, but man, John, we've gotten a great hockey game here, and really one of the most, if it ends up this way, one of the most important wins in Kraken history, no question.
Absolutely. Here's a short and a chance for Bauer down. And Gourde to try to fall on this again. We've called his name. 7 shots to 1 as far as high danger chances for scoring chances. Just 1 for Colorado in this entire third period as Nathan MacKinnon gets taken away from the puck. Here's a breakaway off the backhand. Oh, that was denied the other way. I'm not even sure if maybe Georgiev or someone else didn't get a piece of it. But now this will be picked up by the Avalanche. Bullet dodge there. And Sam Girard gets an opportunity to get things settled here. Georgiev is starting to make the saves that he's needed to, and now he's got to completely lock it down as it's 3:55 left in the third. Colorado's got to get the offensive engines ignited. They got it behind the net now. Here's a chance for Nathan MacKinnon, putting the high slot here for Coffer as he's in the middle of the slot. Recollected by Evan Rodriguez. Fake to MacKinnon. Give back to Rodriguez now. Empty net with 3:39. Rodriguez with the fire scores! Avalanche not done yet.
Wow, John, what a shot from Rodriguez. I think it may have bounced off a body, but either way, Rodriguez has been so close throughout these periods of setting up his teammates. You know what? I think he may have just done it himself right there. Grubauer looks stunned, just standing up in net, leaning up against the crossbar, but it is 3-2 either way. And this is an interesting development here, my friend. The Colorado Avalanche came back after being down a few games ago. Look out, Seattle. You've got to get one more. And Tolvanen, he had a breakaway opportunity just moments prior, and he couldn't find the back of the net. We're taking a look at this replay right here, John. It bounces off a stick shaft and then off of the jersey of Jamie Oleksiak, a totally fluke goal that goes in off of a multiple deflection right to the camera in the net, and it's 3-2. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. But the other thing I will give credit to is Nathan MacKinnon didn't try to force anything either. He just worked in the middle of the slot. Back to Rodriguez. They stayed patient, and they get the goal with the goalie pulled. But now it's in Seattle's offensive end. It's a 3-2 game. Seattle got to hold on, and they'll fire this one on a couple times. And Georgiev will make the glove save. It'll be an offensive zone draw here for the Kraken.
Wow, John, all of a sudden it felt like there's just, I'm putting this in air quotes, there's just 3.5 minutes left in this game, and now with 3:16 to go on the clock, I want to say it this way. There's still 3:16 left to go in this game. Come on, let's get this thing over with. I'm sure the Kraken feel the same way. 3:16 can be an eternity when you're playing Colorado.
Absolutely. Alex Wimber against Lars Eller. It's a winger against the center, and the center and Lars Eller wins this one. As this will go back now for Bowen Byram. And we will see again if Georgiev, maybe now you're only down 1, you can do it at the 2-minute mark if you want to. But if you're Colorado, again, as Cooper was saying, you're feeling pretty good. Well, they pulled the goalie pretty early and they scored. And now they're going to get an ice. So now this is a real opportunity, even off a timeout. This is all systems go for Colorado.
Yeah, this is setting up for a pretty auspicious finish if you're an Avalanche fan, and it's the other way around if you're a Kraken fan. All of a sudden, we were speaking, even the two of us, John, with so much confidence about this Seattle team, and listen, they're still the same team that got that 3-1 lead, but now with an empty net and an ozone face-off for the Avs, look out, my friend. The visitors need to be on their toes, heads on swivels, because they got to get this puck out of there.
MacKinnon from the Rantanen win. It's Rantanen now. Back to Nathan as they flip this back in the high slot. Number 29's got it. As he's patient, gives this one across. Comfort, Toews. Good puck movement. And this one was flipped around. Colorado starting to feel themselves a little bit with the extra man. They're looking confident. As it's recollected, Evan Rodriguez will fan on it. But this will allow Colorado to set back up again. No Georgiev. 2:25 left to go in this third. All of a sudden, it's a one-goal game. What a spin by MacKinnon as he finds his way in across the red line now. Maybe he'll even be the first to get to it as Seattle just tries to flip this out. It's a race for the puck right now, and Colorado will get to it now with Devon Toews. You got to make sure you take a couple extra breaths here if you're MacKinnon and Rantanen. You're going to be out there essentially for this 2 minutes. Colorado needs their big boys yet again, and they're able to get the assists on that end. So this is cleared in one more time. We've got 150 left to go in this fantastic hockey game, honestly. as this is picked up across the red line. Bjorkstrand trying to pry it loose. Seattle just trying to hold on here. They get it. Here's a slap shot. What a block on the other end, as this keeps it a one-goal game. And now quickly trying to push the other way is Rodriguez. Falls down. And now here's an opportunity. Wemberg's got a hold of it. He stays patient. No goalie in the net right now as Georgiev has vacated the crease. And Sam Girard stuck in his own end. So Seattle did kill some time. But here's Lars Eller. Loses it off the stick lift. Collects it back. Gains the zone now. And now it's Colorado. Offside wall. Eller holding out the forehand. Leaves it here for MacKinnon near the left dot. Now in the high slot. Here's MacKinnon with the rocket. And this one goes all the way around the end boards. It'll be an opportunity now. MacKinnon knows. Again, he missed that by a lot. But if he gets that in the same spot, this could be a tie game. 50 seconds left to go in the third. As here come the Avs again. Sam Girard, that defense got to be tired a little bit. Rantanen is out there. Body contact, but this will allow the Avalanche to keep it. It's Girard in the high slot. Fake. Rantanen touch pass. And now Nathan MacKinnon. Back to Mikko. Sends one across the left dot. Nathan MacKinnon, as this is just forced in there. And it's stolen. It's flipping end over ice just across the red line. And this is not iced. Mikko Rantanen got to get on his horse. The Moose has got it. 20 seconds left to go in this third. Gains the entry. Rantanen still working off the forehand in behind the office of Grubauer. Down to 10 seconds. This feels really like a playoff game now because it is. Rantanen set up in a slumper like it and what a block by Seattle. And they flip it down the ice. Bowen Byram. He's going to fire this to the length of the ice. It's over. Seattle wins. They take a 3-2 series lead with a 3-2 final.
John, this is unequivocal for me, my friend. That is the best call I've ever heard you make. I've heard a lot of calls from you, my friend. It's so fun every time we get together. And you know what? Your energy in the last 2 minutes of this game, unmatched, pal. I mean, I hope somebody hears that. You deserve a job in the big leagues, just like all these guys have a job in the big leagues on the ice. It is a 3-2 final for the Kraken. They hang tough. They hang on. And at Queen Anne Beer Hall, where I've spent several nights myself in Seattle, Washington, they are celebrating. I think I'm going to have a cocktail, a beer, something myself, just to get my heart rate down. The last 3 minutes of this thing, John, absolutely unbelievable. The Kraken come away with a victory, and they weather a huge storm to get it.
And you know what it is? We talk about the rolling lines. Who was the one that blocked the Artturi Lehkonen shot? Jordan Eberle might have saved the game. Everybody getting it done for Seattle.
My goodness, leave it to your top lines. I mean, this is unbelievable. Eberle with that veteran experience, he gets down low. I mean, he was face first to the shooter just outside the crease. He blocks that thing with his forearms, and the Seattle Kraken are able to flip the puck down, kill the last few seconds. And guess what? Unfortunately, the game winner does not go to the youngster, but the Kraken still get the victory. And Ty Cartier, he's got to put that puck that he scored in the glass trophy case for sure. Hopefully there will be many trophies to come, including potentially a Stanley Cup ring. I mean, John, this is what we were talking about. All of a sudden, the Seattle Kraken, one win away from taking the defending Stanley Cup champions out in this 2023 playoff year. Unreal.
It really is. And I know you talk about it from the opening, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think Seattle had to get this game. I understand they got another home game at Climate Pledge in a few more days, but Colorado can certainly force a Game 7. At least Seattle gives themselves another opportunity where, just in case, if something goes wrong with the Cale Makar return, that they can try to finish it off in 7. But again, as you also talked about as well, now that Seattle has it and they've got this off the front foot, they've got to do everything in their power. And I believe if they play the same game they did tonight, that they can do so. But it's going to take that same effort and possibly more for Seattle to get this done in a few days.
Yeah, and I think what we just witnessed in the last, 3, 4, or 5 minutes of this third period, and really you could argue beyond that, I think the last 10 or 12 minutes or so of this game, the Avalanche did come to life. They dug down. They found that level that brought them a championship last year. And if they are able to tap into that earlier, yeah, absolutely, the Kraken are going to have to be very wary because this is a team that they're playing against that can absolutely turn on a dime. They didn't have their best effort tonight, but you know what? They did enough to put a real scare into the Kraken late in this thing. And Seattle did a great job staying tough. They hung in there. You know, it wasn't fully Teflon. They had that 3-1 lead. It ended up dwindling to 3-2. But it takes those close victories. And as they gain these experiences, John, I think it's only going to bode better and better for the team from the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, you're right. Coming back to Climate Pledge, the Avalanche are going to be they're going to be out for blood. They're going to want to take this thing to 3-3.
Yes, they are. And just while I have you, really quick before I let you go, I know Saturday, again, I will be gone on that side as far as covering the playoff game for the Waterford Sharks. I don't think it'll be available for Sunday as far as doing a video feed, so I might be available. Now, everything on the NHL side, admittedly, as TBD, and there would essentially be, and this has to go to plan, but just to let everybody know, Panthers, Bruins, Islanders, Hurricanes, Kraken, Avalanche, and Wild Stars. Again, those will all have to go to plan. We're set for 4 Game 7s potentially on Sunday. So if we get to a Game 7, whether or not Cooper Hopkins is available, I'm telling you right now, that'll be my assignment for Sunday.
Yeah, John, well, that is certainly a pleasure to hear. It's music to my ears, and I think that there's a part of me somewhere in my heart that, even though it's hard for me to say this because, you know, I love every time we work a game together, but part of me hopes there isn't a Game 7. I mean, what a scene it would be. I mean, I have yet to attend a game at Climate Pledge Arena, which I guess makes me an unofficial Kraken fan. I think you have to have been there. But all those folks are going to be there for Game 6. I just cannot imagine what it's going to be like there. It'll be so fantastic for everyone there at the base of Queen Anne. It's going to be a fantastic night. And I'm looking forward to whatever we call next. And if it is Game 7, I hope it's as exciting as this one, because what a game we just saw, 3-2 Kraken.
Yeah, I've covered a lot of these things, and so have you across the years. And again, we had the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. And again, we're going to do so when we get to that point. But yeah, this got the blood pumping for sure. And again, Cooper, thank you for reaching out with me, getting everything all squared away. And I will catch back up with you probably on Sunday, or if not, we'll definitely talk next week and do this again.
Yes, sir. And yeah, I'm really excited to keep things rolling here. I know you're a busy man, but we will link up as we always do. We'll find another game to highlight, John, and I'm looking forward to it, man. This has been a great first round, and I think there's lots of good stuff to come.
Yes, there is. We'll talk soon, my friend.
All right, pal. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Well, that was a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate it. Most people I've seen watching so far, great channel's getting bigger, says John Fisher Jordan. Thank you. Thank you, Grayson, on that side. Again, the under 6, that was very good by your part, Grayson. You got that winner there on that end. And again, in between the conversation, it's the first time that Cooper and I got a chance to hook up on the playoffs. I know we're veterans on that side. So I still want to be able to get his thoughts uninterrupted. So again, apologies I didn't get through the comments section as much as possible. But yeah, so here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, I will have the coverage at 7:15 Eastern for the Maple Leafs and the Lightning. That'll be an early assignment. Friday, I'll be away with some notes and things. Saturday, I have a local assignment for the Waterford Sharks for the Michigan Independent Hockey League, so I'll be at the ice rink. I won't be available Saturday because we'll be covering the playoff game. But Sunday, I think let's just get this one right. Saturday is the only time I get to do the video feeds. So Saturday, I'll be gone. Sunday, if a Game 7 is on the horizon, we will cover a Game 7. I don't know if it's going to be with Cooper, but I'll be here with you on a Game 7 call if we get to that point. But as far as next week, at least Cooper and I will be back for that one. Very grateful to have him back. And on this call, because it's been a while on that side, we covered a lot of Flames games. It's an opportunity for him to get a chance to watch his hometown team in Seattle Kraken, although I know he's a giant Flames fan on that side. It's been his lifelong team. But on that side, Seattle, this is a huge win. This is something that him and I did not really expect. I thought maybe at the most part, Seattle maybe in 6. I had Colorado in 5. I understand that Cale Makar, this is a big one. Nichushkin, that's a big one. But, I mean, I don't care what the pieces are out. I think from this postgame, from the things that we discussed, the way Seattle was able to roll out all 4 lines and kind of snuff down the attack as much as you possibly can of Colorado was very impressive. That push for 3 minutes where you get the Evan Rodriguez double deflection off of Bjorkstrand and Jamie Alexiak. You might have got fortune on that one, but it was good poise and patience from Nathan MacKinnon to make that happen. So Grayson says, everyone come back here on Sunday. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, we will figure out the assignment. If we do get to a Game 7, I'll have that. But tomorrow we'll be back for the Lightning and the Maple Leafs. So the first time I cover them this year in the playoff side of it, and maybe the Maple Leafs will do something they haven't done since 2004, win a playoff series. So I will see you guys tomorrow about 7:15 Eastern. I'm going to go ahead and get this game story all typed up, and we will talk to you then. Peace out, everybody. I really appreciate it. That game was a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys tomorrow, or if not, Sunday. Peace.